Alright, we should be live. I keep hearing a weird thumping, clicking.
Yeah, is somebody like clicking on their laptop or something maybe? I'm hearing that too.
I don't think you're sharing your computer sound yet.
Okay, I'm not. So if you're hearing it, then that's not coming
Yeah.
from me. That makes me feel much better. I thought I was losing my mind. There is computer audio. So, when last we saw the Trollskull Six, you had defeated Legate Minister Caudicus, the Confessor of the White Mantle, and all of his minions. Chris and I calculated this up. I think between the hunting lodge basement and the stronghold, I think you killed 50 people. Yeah.
That's too many. Oh
Yeah.
no.
So you took a long rest and kind of thoroughly searched out the secrets of the stronghold. Learned a little bit about the various traps and dangers there. Sorted out the loot, and got to a point where dividing all of the spoil up between the six of you, you were able to prepare yourselves to drag it out as you lay claim to the bounty that once belonged to the White Mantle. On your way out the door, you broke the magic mirror and were briefly given a glimpse at the withered form of Saul D'Alessio, the founder of the White Mantle, hundreds of years old, who had been magically kept alive by the Eye of Genthir, and with the eye no longer present, was finally allowed the release of death. I will say that about the time you're finishing up all of this and making your way out of the Confessor's quarters, you got a bunch of coins like wrapped in ad hoc bedsheet satchels tied with silken ropes and things, split into some of the many smaller personal chests that are around the building. And you begin to leave the Confessor's chambers. You hear voices in the hallway, and you quickly find yourselves face to face with Captain Logan Thackeray and Countess Anise at the head of a full company of Seraph soldiers. Having taken a long rest, it's been about 10 hours since the two members of the Shining Blade that you had encountered began preparations to get word and get reinforcements. These two familiar people greet you, and unless there's something you want to keep secret, we can just kind of skip the RP of the debriefing and assume that you tell them what happened. We can, if you think of something later you wanted to keep secret, just let me know.
They're gonna see the gold. Like there's so
No,
much
you
of it, we
guys are like
can't hide it.
dragging it with you. Yeah, it's impossible to hide.
I feel like it's like a finder's fee.
It is.
Yeah, and there are.
Do they try to stop us? Like, I'm not going to say
Didn't the
anything.
huntsman give us the indication it was probably okay?
Yeah, he told you basically by right of conquest.
Yeah.
This. Yeah.
And it just so happens that our fee is 78,000 silver pieces, 13,800 gold pieces, 1,620 platinum pieces, and 18 gems, 100 gold piece per fee, 6 gems, 500 gold piece per, and 1 diamond worth 1,000 gold pieces. That is the fee for our services. I'm sorry.
Like that scene in Ghostbusters after they trap Slimer. It's like, we're having a special today, so that's only going to come to 10,000 gold pieces.
I mean, if we go by kills, it's only 756 gold pieces per person we killed. So it's really, not that much of a charge. Discount.
So you explain everything that happened, and Roland being there with you. Oh no, because he went back with Griswold Stewart. Anise kind of gives you the impression that she spoke with Roland. She kind of confirmed the gist of what had happened. He has been sent back to headquarters for a full debriefing and some recovery. As soon as he gets to town, he will notify Burkhart that he is alive and well. And having kind of come through the hallways littered with the corpses of the men you've slain, you can see that Anise is visibly impressed. But she also gives you a stern reprimand about being so reckless in the face of unknown dangers. But that being said, both of them praise your courage and resourcefulness, and Anise, even as stoic as she can be, begrudgingly acknowledges your sheer dumb luck. Logan is particularly interested in the information that you've gathered on Cauticus from his personal correspondences. Assuming that you explain that and then hand those papers over to him, the plentiful evidence of his own guilt and that of several other wealthy merchants and ministers kind of lies tangled up in all that correspondence. He is also keenly interested in the plans regarding the Modnir centaurs and the siege weaponry being sent to Kessex. He kind of takes a moment to lay some of that out, and would probably go to the library with a couple of guards to pack all the rest of what they can find up related to that. And he assures you that the Seraph will be dealing with that. If they can, they're going to try to capture those resources for themselves, because it is a lot of war supplies that would be very, very useful. The Countess focuses more on the localized threats, the blueprints that you found in the library for homes and businesses and some public spaces that appear to be places within Divinity's reach, and some perhaps within Lion's Arch, just based on architecture and placement and some of the handwritten notes. But she assures you that her agents will begin to root out any mantle operatives left in Divinity's reach. Glancing over the couple of blueprints that you kept, and her experience in chasing down members of the mantle, she indicates that these are probably safe houses or clandestine meeting places, kind of obscured and hidden within the city at different locations. There's a moment where Countess Anise, I'm assuming you tell her about Saul D'Alessio. She kind of gets very emotional.
Did his body, real quick, did his body like disappear?
It is just lying there in tattered rags.
Oh, so we can actually like, she's not going to be like, what the fuck do you mean?
Hold him up by the scruff.
This guy right here, he did.
It's just like a
But we talked to
sack of
him.
bones.
Yeah, so she takes a moment to look him over and to get that story from you guys. And she takes a hot second to walk out to the Bastion of the Penitent and look at the altar where the Eye of Janthier lay. And she tells you, like she kind of pulls all of you in together and pulls you and Logan away from the other Seraph, and tells you that the Shining Blade, as an organization, was formed to protect the true blood heirs to the Crichton throne when the White Mantle took power. The leader of the Mantle, the Master Exemplar, currently Countess Anise, is sworn to safeguard the secrets of the Shining Blade on pain of death, and to defend the ruling monarch and the family of the crown, the bloodline of the Crichton monarchy. One of their sacred duties was to always be vigilant in case the Mantle were to try to return to power. But also, it was a secret task to be on the watch for the return of Lazarus the Eternal. As you guys tell her about the magic that you had encountered and the notes that you'd found in various tomes, she tells you that there was a group of warriors hundreds of years ago who kind of put an end to Lazarus, his corporeal form, as the last living Mersat. It was a story passed down through the leadership of the Shining Blade, and so it's kind of been her sacred task to keep an eye out for that. And now that she knows the eye is what it is, and that it has kind of vanished into the mists, she tells you that it is her sacred duty to take up the search for that, or the preparations to deal with it should it ever show its face again, and that information will be recorded and passed down through the leadership of the Shining Blade and to the Crichton monarchy so that they are aware of what's going on. That being said, after a couple of hours kind of walking through, talking about the stronghold, you hear Logan like barking orders about sending the Seraph all around to clear out all the nooks and crannies, ensure everything is in a safe state, and to set up guard posts, get up on the towers, keep an eye out around, ensure that like nothing's coming, nothing's going to violate this space, keep a watch on the valley and the premises themselves. And Anise would then invite all of you to take your newly found riches and return with her to Divinity's Reach. I assume at this point there's nothing left in the stronghold that you would need to do.
No, but I would have definitely warned them about the traps and that they needed the little badges and told
The
them
one
that one
that's
guy
still
got
there.
away. Like one guy ran
Yeah, the
off.
one guy that ran.
Yeah.
Okay. She tells you that is duly noted, and I figure as part as the couple hours spent talking about the stronghold and walking around and getting all this information, showing them the traps and how they function be a crucial part of that. So, just to kind of travel montage approach this, eventually you find yourselves back in Divinity's Reach, temporarily housed at Goodkin's Gramarye, with Burkhart fawning over you all, fixing elaborate breakfasts and dinners. Occasionally, I would say, checking in on you. Roland himself, like after the grueling sort of debriefing with all the details given to his superiors, spends several days at home, recuperating under the loving care of Burkhart. And they invite you all to stay with them for a couple of days. Logan and Anise tell you that the fall of the White Mantle is monumental. It's a historic event. And they would like to ensure that your deeds are recognized and acknowledged throughout the city, throughout Kryta. So they are going to put together a special sort of award ceremony. Think of like the end of Star Wars when they destroy the Death Star and there's like the big crowd and they get medals. So they ask you if you wouldn't mind just hang out in the city for a couple of days, and then they will have a very, very public pomp and circumstance, like a parade that ends at the podium, and Queen Jenna will actually come down and personally give each of you like a blue ribbon with the sigil of Kryta. It's a griffin rampant is the sort of emblem of the kingdom.
Flattery will get you everywhere. So
I assume you're all willing and you'll stay in town.
Rena's like blushing the whole time, but loving it.
Yeah. So, is there anything before you head back to Lion's Arch, as you're waiting for this award ceremony? Is there anything in Divinity's Reach that you would like to do before that happens?
There are two things I wanted to do while we're still in Divinity's Reach. The first one doesn't really need to be RP just for the sake of time, but Galater will stop by and just kind of update Elise on things and spend some time with her while they're there. as well as like visit with his siblings a little bit. But then the second thing was I wanted to talk to Countess Anise about like training with the prism blade, but also like studying more about how to, I guess, be mentally tough and things in like long missions or difficult situations and things like that, and see if she might be able to train me amid the free time of some of the upcoming conflicts and things.
So when you say train with a prism blade, you gave the prism blade back to Roland.
Yeah, but I've got the blood crystal. So like learning, because I assume the shining blade generally seem like prism blades seem like they're kind of their thing. I assumed it wasn't just Roland. So I figured she would be able to.
Yeah. Well, so talking with Anise about this, you learn that the prism blade is constructed as part of the initiation into the shining blade. The blade itself is a symbol as much as it is a functional weapon. So it's not something that like they give out, like they make and have a bunch of spares and like give to people. It's very much like a personal thing that is a part of the journey of becoming a member of the Shining Blade. I will say that as you know, a couple of long rests and days go by, and talking with Anise and with your own abilities, of course, you identify the Bloodstone Crystal, because I don't think technically we had done that yet. So it's basically a hopped up ruby of the War Mage. You can, it says you can insert it into a prism blade, but technically you can just do what the ruby of the War Mage says. You can like hold it against a thing and it puts it on the pommel or the crossbar. It makes it a +3 weapon. It gives you a +3 attack bonus to hit. You can use the blade that it's attached to as a spell focus. But it requires a sacrifice of life energy to function. So every day, when you finish a long rest, you have to give it half your remaining hit point or hit dice, or something. There's like a downside if you don't.
I think you get a level of exhaustion.
Exhaustion, yeah.
Right. Okay.
I saw it too.
So yeah, it's as you're puzzling this out and talking with Anise, she tells you that the crystal itself is, she confirms it's a fragment of the Bloodstone. She's sure that Priory scholars would love to analyze it. It's probably best kept, safe from people who would misuse it. But you being a competent and experienced wizard, of course, it's something you found. She's not going to take it from you, and you can absolutely use it if you feel it would be wise to do so. So you do get to identify that. She tells you that if you want to learn some of the techniques for using a prism blade, through her conversation, we'll see over the next couple of days, like as you're resting, and she comes from time to time to check on Roland. You gather that there's just a sliver of maternal instinct there, and it's almost like these people who serve under her like are in her care, not just her soldiers. And Burkhart certainly has like a deep respect when she shows up. But she comes in to check from time to time, and she asks to see the book that Roland gave you, that taught you the techniques of the blade song. She kind of flips to the back end of it, some of the more obscure exercises in the later chapters, and she emphasizes some of the parts, and provides what are like more modern insights on how to improve upon those ancient techniques. Both in how to physically manipulate such a dangerous weapon, and also the more esoteric side of meditation and mental focus exercises, how that ties in with physical exercise, discipline the mind, discipline the body, and things like that. Spending this time with you gives her an opportunity to kind of pull you aside, and she gives you kind of a no-nonsense talk. It's not cold or mean, it's just very, very like matter of fact.
Mhm.
About the about Omen.
Mm.
She just very matter of factly points out that it is a priceless relic for the Shining Blade. And she says, by rights, it should be held in the care of the Master Exemplar, but the blade has a sort of will of its own, and if it's allowed you to form a bond with it, then that is where it is meant to be. If you're going to fight alongside these other fine folks against the Elder Dragons and fighting with the Pact and stuff, she can think of no better bearer for the sword. Though she would hope that you make arrangements in the event of your death that it should return to the Shining Blade.
That seems reasonable.
Nah, he's gonna make sure that shit gets buried with him.
Yeah, she's got to pry that out of Kala's bag of holding.
Yeah, it's going to be like the Elder Wand. It'll just go with me to my grave.
Yeah. You mentioned to me in an email that the locket for Demi Beetlestone.
Yeah, I was going to give that to her and Logan, or just her, whoever's conveniently around, to return to Demi. And then inside, I was just going to write like a little note that just says sorry for your loss, because I do feel slightly bad about the fact your dad had to die, given that Galatar had to save his own dad.
Yeah. So I would say that as part of these couple of days you spend in the city, explaining that situation, and they would see the correspondence letter.
Mm-hmm.
They would absolutely take that with the greatest respect. And as the day of the procession dawns, as things begin that day, you guys are all dressed in some finery, or at least clean, orderly armor. Anise and Logan would actually bring Demi to Goodkin's Gramarye to meet all of you, so that it is clearly understood between all parties. Like, she is clearly sad about the death of her father, but she would explain to each of you that he had lost his way, and whether that was due to the corruption of the influence of the Eye and this Mersat figure that she doesn't fully understand, or whether it was the natural result of his own greed and ambition, she's not sure. But while she doesn't see forming like the kind of friendship where she'd have you all over for tea or anything like that, she does respect what you needed to do and holds you blameless in the matter, in like an official way. And she will be as a newly minted minister who has to take over her father's position as minister of the Beetleton estate and township. She will be present at the medallion ceremony.
Anise, what also happens to the other minister or ministers? I don't know how many of them we had to kill. Does it all just go down to their family? Are there like elections for the districts? How does all of that kind of work?
She tells you that politics in Kryta, or specifically in Divinity's Reach, are a little strange because each group kind of has their own take on the system. Beetleton as a township was founded by the Beetlestone family. And so typically it has been a hereditary office. The Beetleton estate, Caudicus Manor, is a family property. Someone could be elected minister if Demi had no interest in representing the town, but that's never happened in the history of the town. And if the citizenry were so disposed that they hated their representative, they could petition the crown to assign someone else as a minister or to open an election and just depose them. Like, the Council of Ministers has the ability to respond to citizens' concerns and sort of impeach people. Minister Estelle, who I believe was killed in the hunting lodge, she... see my notes on Divinity's Reach.
We killed a lot of people.
Minister Estelle Montefort was the youngest in the Montefort family line, historically in charge of the Fort Salma district, which is actually the district of Divinity's Reach where Goodkin's Grammary is. Oh, no, sorry, my bad, not Salma district. Fort Salma, which is different. So that is a fort in the Kessex Hills region.
No more conflict of interest there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that it is a Seraph outpost, which is southwest of the city. It's the furthest military outpost of the Crown, near the Brisbane wildlands, like the border of the Crichton Kingdom. And as all that comes to light, it's clear that the location of that, near where the Kessex Hills area and where the siege weapons were going, also the border near the Brisbane wildlands, beyond which lies the Stronghold of the Faithful, like it was a very key place for someone in the mantle to be in charge of. Yeah, there were a couple other ministers that were implicated, and based on like which districts they are, some will have democratic processes to elect a new one. Others have hereditary heirs who could choose to take up that position after they've been investigated and vetted by the Shining Blade and the Crown and put through like some tests to ensure that they're not White Mantle sympathizers and so forth.
So that system has not worked super well in the past?
No, I mean, it's worked generally well, but not every minister has always been vetted by the Crown. It's usually the people of the district decide, but this time the Crown and the Shining Blade will be vetting them because of a special circumstance.
Okay, I was just curious.
What is the, like, in the days following, what is the like public reaction specifically to like their legate minister being the head of like the White Mantle? It
is the scandal of the town. It's like the Monica Lewinsky scandal. It's all anybody talks about. Big time scandal, Monica Lewinsky level. Everybody talks about it. It is on the lips of every Crichton citizen. The tap rooms and taverns are just full of people shouting about it. And now you feel on the streets this positive upsurge in energy. You notice as you walk around occasionally to shops, and for a couple of days, you guys are basically just the toast of the town. So, you know, Kala, you walk down the street and you find some meat on a stick, and the vendor's just like, "Here, please. It would be my honor to give you free food." You know, like you guys are treated like local celebrities as word spreads like wildfire. And you notice that there are no more posters. There is no more anti-crown graffiti. Occasionally, you hear rumors on the streets of like racists and Mantle sympathizers being like tossed out of bars or tarred and feathered and like run out on poles like into the streets as people finally realize what's been going on. And there's a lot of hostility towards people who still talk that nonsense. So generally it is a brighter day in Divinity's Reach.
And is there any way for us to know, like, I guess I'm also interested in what it's like in Ebonhawk now. For like, how did the word travel there? That clearly is a much like more deeply entrenched place of those sort of sympathizers. And I know that they still have like the White Mantle like outpost camp places.
They do. Well, and it wasn't so much White Mantle, it was the Separatists. And over the 3 days, you start to kind of gather from conversations you have in taverns and with those in the know that word does spread to Ebonhawk. When people realized that the Separatists were being puppeted and financed by members of the White Mantle cult, they lose a great deal of support. There are still separatists out there who hate the Char and will never not hate the Char, because the war that has engulfed Ebonhawk for, you know, a century is something that's it's a multi-generation conflict that is so ingrained. There are a lot of those people who just won't change their mind. It will take generations to kind of weed out the hate that festers in Ebonhawk. But even there, you learn that with the White Mantle influence gone, the Separatists are really left to kind of fend for themselves, and you gather that they didn't really have a lot of strong leadership. There weren't a lot of real smart cookies there. You know, it's kind of like if the Republican Party got tanked and all that was left were the Proud Boys. Like, eventually it's just a bunch of guys shooting their mouths off in the woods. You know, it's just not as effective as it could be. And the general sense is that given enough time, the separatist threat will go away or get to the point where it's no longer a true threat any longer.
Along that same line, I'm just curious, is the White Mantle, and I might talk to Kala about this, but like, is the White Mantle known in Char like territories, or is it like not as?
They wrecked a lot of Char like a couple hundred years ago, but I don't think they do anything in Char territory now.
Right. So if you were in Char territory and like talking to somebody about the White Mantle, they would know what you're talking about, or is it like not a thing anymore? Really,
It would
like talking about like the
like
Visigoths or something.
exactly.
Okay.
Effectively, it's like going to a Visigoth country and talking about like a Roman legion that decimated you 200 years ago.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Bringing
very
up
very
some
little
old
modern
people.
reverence, or relevance. Yeah. So,
I would like to go to the bank, the Junlai bank, and drop off a bunch of coin. Which I assume other people are going to want to do.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I want to at least change mine into platinum.
you can
I
change
don't
it
remember
into,
how much we got or if I added it.
You got 7,000 some?
7,100.
Something like, it was a little bit more than that. It's like, oh gosh. Oh no, sorry. It was less than 7,000 too.
Maybe
Well,
I
Oh no, it
did
was
add
7,100 exactly. You're right.
That was what
It
I
was
wrote
it.
down when you
Yeah.
said
I
it.
forgot that we had the gems too. I was just looking at the gold from the other thing.
So I will say you can change it into platinum, and in Divinity's Reach being the huge human capital city, easy enough to do. You can also exchange it for gems. There are gems worth like 25, 100, 500, and 1,000 gold. So however much you want to do that, because gems are very lightweight and very portable.
Okay.
You saw
Yeah, I'm
the
gonna
thing
do
that
that.
tells us how much the box that we have can hold if we have like the cheaper box? Because I've already got like 4,000
yeah.
coins in there, and I don't know if I can actually fit many more, or if I need to like convert it all to gems.
And that's in gold pieces, right? Sorry. The 7,100 is just in gold pieces.
It assumed that we converted all the gems and stuff that we were going to get rid of into gold pieces and exchanged everything else.
Why do I feel like I actually added this last time, but somehow it's not showing up? All right, I'll figure it out. We're fine.
So if you just opened an account, you get a complimentary storage space that is 4 cubic feet. So like 2 by 2 by 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody got higher than that.
I don't think so.
The total number of coins you can fit in that is like 48,000. Because I think you said 12,000 coins per cubic foot.
That's a lot.
That sounds right.
Damn.
Let's see.
Okay.
One cubic foot is about 12,000 coins. Yeah. 240 pounds, about. Yeah.
Okay. I did a little bit of exchanging in my like backpack of some gold and stuff for gem. Like I think I just took out like a 1,000 gold piece gem or diamond or something and just tossed out some platinum. It's a lot of coins to carry around for old Bert.
Yeah.
Oh, did somebody put
I like hearing
the
him jingle.
1,000 gold diamond in their inventory that we found? Because that one we did not exchange in our currency.
I have it in the bag of
calculations.
holding, but if somebody
Okay.
who needs that for the spell wants to put it in their inventory, that's fine too. Whatever.
I don't need it at the moment.
I don't think I need it.
I think the 1,000 gold diamond is for the resurrection spell at
I don't
7th level.
know if we're high enough level for that. or-
It is.
We
Mary
are
just
now.
got
We
it.
are
Druids
now.
just get access to it, as do bards. But yeah. You will get
Yep.
it.
I
Oh,
also
wow.
have 300 gold diamond in the bag of
Well,
holding.
I mean,
for
it's kinda,
whenever
if we
need
have two
that.
people that can use it, might as well keep it in the one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good place to have it. Just want to make sure we had it
Are
accounted for.
aware. Yes.
Yeah.
Good point.
Cool.
Reincarnate is 5th level. Where's resurrection? It's
Maybe
not.
on your
seventh.
7th level
is
spells?
7th level. There is a.
There's
Or no.
regenerate.
Regeneration 7th level.
Regenerate is 7th.
yeah, druids may not get resurrection.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe
that
like
may not have been
Bards
added
and
with the new.
clerics. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
they
bards
just
and
got
clerics.
regeneration, right?
Well, they got
No, I have
revivify.
it. I have
Oh
revivify.
no, they got revivify.
And
So
that
maybe they didn't get
only
resurrection.
revivify
that-
uses 100
300. Oh, it's
gold
100.
piece. Yeah. So
300 is raised dead, I guess.
Raised that is 500.
What is the 300
I
then?
thought
wonder.
something was 300.
300 is
did too.
revivify.
Ah,
Oh,
300 gold
Oh.
piece diamond is revivify.
there we go.
Yeah, resurrection is
think-
cleric and bard only.
Call, have you
Okay.
had that for a while?
Yeah, I've had the diamond, the 300.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
maybe we've spread them out amongst people, or like I have some and you have others, just so if something happens, it's not like oh, Katri dropped her bag in the ocean. Hope none of y'all die.
And I think between all of you, you have, what was it we calculated, like 8 basic healing potions and
Basic 5 or 6 greater and 1 supreme, I think.
Oh, we do.
I think
Oh,
so,
wow.
between all of your inventories.
Nice.
I have 1 supreme healing potion.
there it is. I've got a greater and a regular.
I have a greater.
Mine may be.
Okay with me.
I don't have any more graters. Greater healing potion.
I just have a healing potion.
And I have 2 regular potions of healing.
Oh yeah, I just have 1 potion of healing.
Right, so
Sounds like we should go raid the town for some healing potions.
Oh, while we're in the process of waiting, is there a place in Divinity's Reach where one might be able to buy, say, some magical inks?
oh yeah,
And whatnot.
absolutely.
Okay, can I use some of this downtime to go ahead and like when we have some moments at Good King Grammary to just go ahead and start transcribing some of the spells and things I found?
Absolutely. And you
The-
know where all of them are because this is where you learned your wizardry.
I think there are 2 that I have to roll for. I need to get 1,000 gold pieces in ink if that's possible.
So it's not just ink, it's ink, fine paper, and material components for the spells.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just you can spend the gold you need to spend to do the thing.
Okay,
Not a
perfect.
problem.
And then
I think the only reason they have that requirement is so that you can't just sit down and do it in a dungeon. You actually have to go to a town.
that makes sense. That's reasonable. And then on top of like the transferring things over, 4 of those are via spell scroll, which I have to roll for. Is that correct?
Technically, yeah, for a scroll, you're supposed to roll for it.
Okay.
Now, is that an Arcana check or just an Intelligence check?
I
think it's
don't
Arcana.
know. I have not done
That
this
I
in
don't know.
10 million years. Can't remember the last time we transcribed a spell scroll.
PHP. I usually just hand wave it because it's really shitty to get like a 5th level spell and you have to roll a 15 on a check to transfer it.
Well, I've got a 15 now on Arcana, so.
Oh, well, that's pretty tight, yeah. So I think wizard. I think it's under the spell
Wizard
casting.
spell and a spell scroll is the copier must succeed on an intelligence Arcana check. Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet.
Oh,
And I
there you
don't
go.
think none of these are above 5th level, so I can't mess up anyway. So
Awesome.
perfect.
That makes
Cool.
me feel so much better.
Well, there you go. It's
Makes me feel better too. I thought it was just going to be a straight intelligence check. I was a little concerned, but I feel better. All right, cool.
That's fun.
I can add all those now.
Just check my spells. Not that we need to revisit this, but druids do have reincarnate,
Yes.
but I have
Yeah.
not prepared that ever because I would rather just revivify someone than like spend 1,000 gold worth of oils and shove them in a new body.
Yeah. So reincarnate is great if someone gets disintegrated and all you have is a pile of ash.
Good to know.
Or
But
for some
also-
role play moments.
I guess also you can do if they've been dead for longer, like up to 10 days is how long reincarnate works. But
Also
revivify, I think, is only within like,
a
1
minute.
minute.
yeah.
If they don't have gentle repose.
You know, if it's kind of like, okay, we can, I
Yeah.
can prepare reincarnate for the next day.
Right, you can prepare for reincarnate if it has to come down to it.
Yeah. So, absolutely easy enough. You can take care of that while you're in there. I would say it's kind of heartwarming. In the evenings as Galatar is working on this, like you guys are all sort of sitting around. It's a little cramped with 6 extra people in the house, but you know, Burkhard is just like happy as a pig in shit, bustling around the kitchen, making the food, like prepping coffee and wine, and talking to you guys about your adventures. The consummate home entertaining host. Roland is in hardcore recovery mode, just kind of taking it easy, quietly reading, occasionally talking to Galatar about sword fighting techniques and mental exercises. But some nights as Galatar is copying the spells and working out things, you can see like Burkhart leaned up against the door jamb, just sort of watching him thoughtfully. Every now and then Roland comes over and just puts an arm on his shoulder and looks over just to see what he's doing. Like he doesn't really understand the arcane stuff, but he's like quietly giving him support, and it's adorable. I'm glad you like that, Mary. Priceless face.
Because I was muted, you couldn't hear the squealing noise I made, but for the record, it was there.
So a couple of days go by. You guys are fully rested. You have time to clean the gore out of your armor. Really kind of reflect on the trauma of the last few days, of your success, any failures that you had, and really kind of learn from and internalize that experience. Last day dawns, you are introduced to Demi Beetlestone, who accompanies you with Anise and Logan through basically a small parade, but citizens are like leaning out of high windows, throwing confetti and streamers, and there's like a band that rolls through with you. Cheers, the masses kind of gathering and following you. The crowd gets larger and larger as you make your way up the Duena High Road to the central garden in the city with a giant glass dome with the orrery of the planets overhead, where a makeshift kind of state fair dais is set up, and Queen Jenna stands elevated above everyone in a fine, pure, like shimmering white gown set with opals and sapphires.
I will say at several points along this route, Birdie will like sneakily pull out his triangle of silent image and like give it a little ding, and there's just like a shower of glitter over top of him that like rains down. He just like opens his arms and like turns as he walks.
Absolutely dramatic lighting.
Yeah. I'm gonna just
Gonna ask how Birdie's
burn all of those charges.
Yeah, there is singing, there is the sense of fresh baked bread and foods. Eventually there's just an enormous gathering in this huge like sort of central upper level park. You can see a lot of the general citizenry, and on the outskirts, kind of at the raised levels on the outer edge, the nobility has gathered. You're all pulled in up onto the dais, where you are presented to cheering and screaming crowds. and each of you is given a heavy blue ribbon with a large, we'll say like it's uh, like a 50-cent piece sized medallion of like gold and mithril emblazoned with the griffin rampant symbol of Kryta. I think you guys have not met Queen Jenna before.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, you see this woman who is kind of medium height. She's between like 5'7" and 5'9". Very dark tan, almost like Spanish toned skin. Dark black curly hair kind of tied back from her face. Elegant white ballroom type gown set with opals and sapphires and like gold trim. The image of Crichton beauty and authority and poise and grace. She greets you all very formally as you step up onto the dais, and she gives a little speech to the crowd, explaining about the evils of the legate minister and what had transpired. She doesn't name other names, but she points out that several other ministers and nobles were involved, as well as a great many commoners. Vows that all of these people will be held accountable for their actions and the harm done to the Crichton people. And then she introduces each of you in turn and explains that without your bravery, your courageousness and your resourcefulness, the White Mantle would still be undermining the authority of the crown and the safety of the people for their own selfish gain. And then she finishes it up with a dramatic kind of upwelling in her rhetoric and the force of her delivery to say that now that the mantle has fallen, the Seraph Guard will be immediately assuming the responsibilities and duties of the Ministry Guard, all of whom will be placed on administrative house arrest until it can be determined which of them has been helping, because the Ministry Guard was also allied with Quaticus. I believe you all figured that out at Zamon's house. But that as soon as possible, once this has been resolved, with the White Mantle gone, Crichton forces will step up to do their part to defend humanity against the Elder Dragon threat by joining forces with the newly formed Pact that operates out of Lion's Arch. And so she kind of makes a very public commitment to support the war effort for the greater good of all sentient races. And it's this sort of beautiful moment where even though, like, you can see as you're looking out over the crowd, there are some people who are not thrilled, but generally it is a very positive moment. At the end, there's just this huge roar of applause. You can see even like some of these hanging brass orbs and decorations that mirror the night sky are shaking as the sort of space within this area is just shook by the loudness of the crowd. As the applause dies down, the celebration continues. A band comes up on stage, and there are singers, there are dancers and performers of all kinds. You gather that this is going to be a long celebration. Everybody's going to get pretty crunk tonight. But you all are led off the dais and to the north through huge, like 15-foot high, heavy oaken doors into the lowest level of the palace, or I should say the ground level of the palace, which opens into the Crichton throne room. It's a beautiful space. It's huge, kind of oval chamber. The throne itself is an enormous piece of like opalescent crystal, kind of shaped into a throne with like almost like a sea spray behind it of this iridescent marble material. There's a portion of the floor that is like a shin deep pool of perfectly clear water, and just a little like 6 or 7 foot wide footbridge that ever so slightly arcs over top of that from one side to the other towards the throne. And as Queen Jenna crosses this and takes her seat, you are given a brief audience with Her Majesty, the Monarch of Kryta. I don't know if any of you have questions for her, if there's anything you'd like to cover during this period, but you have like about an hour of the Queen's time as she personally thanks you for your contributions. Yeah.
Be careful.
How close are we to the queen? Is this like we're on the other side of the pool, or like we're at the throne?
You cross as well, in the company of a couple of Seraph guards. There are guards stationed all around. You stop within about 15 feet of the throne. She's slightly elevated, like 2 or 3 steps height difference, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Mr. Canfield?
Maybe we'll see. I'm gonna let others go first. I feel like more of a parting thing.
And if you don't have anything right now, it's fine. We can do. If something comes up later and you're like, "Hey, well, we spoke to the queen. Could I have asked?" We can retcon.
Also, are they okay with Grim, or did I have to leave him behind?
I would say they advise you that for the parade, leave Grim at the house.
Okay, I'll just give him to roll and to hang on to.
Does
or
Grim
card.
fit in the house?
He can squeeze through the doorway.
We're talking about Grimace,
Nimble.
right?
Yeah, Grim.
Grim.
Okay.
All right, Grim's a
Grimace.
pretty good nickname.
I
I like
mean,
Grim.
Who the fuck is Grim?
it's like Grim. You mean our big purple friend Grimace?
Are you referring to my big strong boy Grimace?
That's another thing. I can go ahead and say, over these 3 days that you spend in town, you kind of get to know Grimace, and it's effectively a shield guardian stat block, but it hovers above solid ground, ignoring difficult terrain, and it deals slashing damage with its blade arms instead of bludgeoning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do I just look for like the stat block? Is it just the general shield guardian stat block, or what would be
just
the?
use the general stat guardian or shield guardian stat block.
Okay, without all like the extra features, just the hit points and stuff.
Oh no, like the full on.
Oh, so like everything.
It's a shield guardian. Yeah.
Okay,
It's just
cool.
those 2 things are changed. It's hovering and has slashing damage.
Okay.
I would appreciate you not necessarily dragging it into
Yeah.
every combat.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll leave this thing behind some with all our other pets.
I was
we
like,
have
you
a
can
lot
out
of
of the
them.
bar.
Now, you can take it with you. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna go kill an elder dragon and you want to take your shield golem with you, sure.
Good for the big fights. Maybe I'll leave it with Tim as like the like
Bus boy.
yeah, the bus boy, or
It can
maybe he
move
can just be
boxes.
like
It's in there
the
like cutting up the
bouncer.
meat,
Yeah,
standing in the kitchen.
absolutely.
So
Kisses at him.
So I will say in this audience with the queen,
Here we go.
one thing Murdy will do towards the end, you know,
Wow, we
after
never did
the
ask
thing,
that.
the thanks have been said and things like that. He'll say, "Oh, your Majesty, of course I have something for you," and he'll reach in his pocket, pull out a business card, and he's gonna just like 15 feet away. He's just gonna like snap his fingers, and the card, like his hand that is holding it, kind of lifts off, and this mage hand, like very slowly, very calmly, approaches the queen and like kind of holds it out.
As you start to float your mage hand with the card across the 15-foot space between,
Right.
you see like she kind of turns her head and cocks it to the side a little bit, and there's this little impish hint of a grin, and she gives you a wink, and as she winks, she gets up out of her chair and kind of floats towards you, but she's still sitting in her chair. And this sort of strange duplicate reaches out and takes the card from the mage hand, does like a little swish with her hair, and floats back over, and then just like reintegrates to the queen, and she is holding the card.
Okay, now you gotta show me how to do that, because that is cool as hell. Are you a follower of Lissa? Because that seemed like Listen magic.
The Lady of the Mirror has many followers. Before I was the queen, I was not an unskilled mesmer myself.
Your Majesty, I.
Okay, well, you have our card. If you ever need to get a hold of us, that should be
I
plenty.
shall.
But also, if you want to like collaborate on a project or something, give me a call day or night, because I feel like we could really do a job. I mean, really do a
Like
job.
regally just sort of nods her head.
Yeah. Okay. And if you ever want to tell me how you did that, that's fine. If not, I'll come up with something though. Give me ideas though, for certain.
Yeah.
I would like to ask if has a Char ever had one of these medals before?
Only one. I'm told you and your companions are familiar with Tribune Brimstone of the Blood Legion.
Yeah.
He and our Captain Thackeray fought side by side in Destiny's Edge. They themselves once attempted to defeat Kralkatorek. They were unfortunately unsuccessful. But together they performed many other deeds of incredible bravery and have done exquisite service to the Crichton Crown. I'm quite certain the Tribune does not keep it visible on his person, but he was given one, yes. It's not often we have one of your people do such service for the Crown or our country, but I hope that this is a sign that more such actions are soon to come.
Maybe.
Always with the regal sort of non-committal,
Mm.
like, I acknowledge your contribution. Okay. So, big motherfucking party. The next day, getting up a little late, you guys work hard, you guys play hard usually, but eventually, you find your way back to Lion's Arch.
Does Burkhardt make pancakes before we leave?
Of course.
I love
Pancakes,
sleepovers at Galathar's
bacon,
house.
sausage, fresh biscuits, hash browns.
Yes!
Stop
Also-
this, Ryan.
You've
Can I
got to
send
come
a-
over more often.
Could I send a message to Tim yesterday before the parade inviting him? I feel really bad to not invite him. To Tim, our barkeep. I feel like he should be invited to the festivities. He's an honorary member of the things we do. He runs our establishment like 90% of the time.
Well, I would say he would respond to the sending and just say, thank you so much. I'm honored by the invitation, but I am running the bar right now.
Close the bar.
And lose our profit? I think not,
Say
Galatar.
close the bar. Like his response is, what? No.
The correct
Like, he loves
correct
that bar.
response. Yes.
I'll
thank
use
you,
a
Tim.
third spell and just be like, Tim, we literally just made like 40,000 gold.
The only one with
Take a
common
day off.
sense around here.
Jesus.
You get like, but this is my home. I love this bar.
All right, Bertie, we're giving him a raise.
Probably something like Tommy was gonna come in tonight and tell everybody about the fish he caught. Like, what, you can't close the bar. Like, everybody's expecting it to be open tonight. It's like you gather like there are things happening there while you're gone, and it's a real place, And he has certain expectations.
It's alive.
When we get back, we need to discuss an ownership stake in the bar or
No,
increased
you're right.
wages for
Because
Tim.
honestly,
needs something.
Tim's pay needs to get docked if he's just talking with you all day, Galatar. I mean, seriously, what are we paying him for?
I think we're paying him to run the bar when we're off gallivanting. I mean, we make lots of money. We don't have to be stingy,
I do think we should get the living will just in case, like, we all die in a horrible accident. I'd like the bar to go to Tim. He seems cool.
The bar,
Horrible
my sword, we
non-accident.
could give everything to Tim.
I'd like a 40-foot tall gold statue of myself in the heart of Lion's Arch, I think.
Okay, upon your death.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
You
seems
could probably arrange that with the merchant princes
And
if you
one-
offer them enough gold.
Yeah, I'd also like it to be enchanted, but I'm going to leave the specifics in a will. It's going to be a secret. Nobody's going to know how it's enchanted, but there's going to be a secret to it. Yeah, I think so.
I think you should let Joban design it.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
He would catch my my visage well, I think.
He'd probably be really excited to make you a statue.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea now. Do it while I'm living, you know?
You can't see the response once you're dead.
Right, once you're gone, who cares, you know?
Cares.
I mean, if we are going to get killed by elder dragons as a possibility, you might as well go ahead and do it.
How much do you think a 40-foot tall gold statue would cost?
Maybe after we kill one
Solid
elder dragon, you
gold
would have
or
enough
just
money.
like plated in gold?
Oh, he would totally do
Well,
plated
it would
in
have
gold.
to be solid. It would have to be solid, I'm afraid.
Just aluminum with like a thin plating of gold on it.
I think
That
it
sounds
would
about
probably
right.
collapse under its own weight.
Yeah, we got
Much like
magic for that.
Bertie's ego. Just kidding. Your ego lives up to the hype. You're quite gifted.
You're quite gifted.
Big hype.
So, eventually you find yourselves returning to Lion's Arch. Having discovered the fate of Penumbra, which is what began
Oh,
this
fuck.
Yeah,
adventure so many in real life months ago.
fucking
You
eons.
are able to report the status. There has yet been no word from Niana and Galen, the two members who survived. They've not yet returned to the city, but they told you as much.
Yeah.
Did Penumbra have like how we have the bar? Did Penumbra have like a
Guild.
setup?
A guild house.
Could I if one hasn't been started, Kichi would definitely be out there like decorating with flowers and basically setting up like an outdoor like tribute for them.
Real.
Like a memorial?
Yeah, and then hopefully
Yeah.
people would like the public would come and they'd put things,
I would
know.
say that as part of your downtime, talking to Ellen Keel and some of the others who kind of organize the city, getting permission to like be on the property and to do stuff like this so nicely for them, and people in the neighborhood who very much like those who live in and around Trollskull Alley knew them and supported them. They do not own a tavern; it's just a guild house, but they are known in the neighborhood. So
Wait,
easy
did
enough
they live
to-
close to us?
No, they
Oh.
live closer to the cenobium.
I was gonna say, I was like, holy crap, they were our neighbors.
Yeah, I think they lived like around here somewhere, like over on the far east side, near the cenobium. I will say that as the day of the arena fight approaches, and we'll go back and do downtime, but I just want to let you know this is coming. Sometime in the day or two before your big arena fight, as assuming you still want to do that, as hype is built and that there's like an electricity in the air, Trollskull Six have returned to Lion's Arch. Couple of long nights in the bar telling stories. You are eventually called to the Crow's Nest, the repaired tavern where the Pact is currently based. They send Mortimer to come get you, and he leads-
Mortimer, we've missed you so much.
Is he the special Trollskull Six diplomat at this point?
Absolutely. Anytime I get the
Guys.
chance to hear him talk.
Hello, guys.
Oh,
it's good to see you.
Mortimer!
Hear you've been making some pretty big waves up north. Done some good job. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mortimer. What rank are you now? Are you like a just under the general, or like
Still a sergeant. Make it there someday, though.
still pretty good?
Pretty
Yeah.
cool, Mortimer.
Keep a nose to the old grindstone.
Yeah. If you need anybody to vouch for you, I mean, they probably wouldn't take our word. We aren't always the most popular with them, but we will totally find somebody to vouch for you.
And if you
Well,
ever
don't know
want to
about that.
retire and run the bar, let us know. Tim's on probation right now.
Wait, Tim's on probation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gave it the other day.
What?
I'm sorry. This was made by some of the other stakeholders. Galazar, you weren't consulted, but you know,
I just had the paperwork drawn up to give him his raise.
yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Well, I'll wait a week, then I'll give it to him.
Mortimer, he leads you to the crow's nest, takes you up the stairs to this upper level, which is where you successfully defended the nascent Pact from a dragon attack mere months ago. And inside, the whole area has been basically converted into one massive war room. The big central table has kind of been augmented by a few smaller ones nearby. It's just covered with sheafs and rolls of paper and parchment. There are tables all around the edge. By the door as you enter, there's just like an ever-stocked table of ale and coffee and small finger foods. And as you are led in, you see the familiar figures, the tall, slender form of Marshal Traherne, the firstborn Sylvari, the ever heavily armored female Char, her long, sort of saber-like canine teeth, General Soulkeeper from the Vigil, the more petite form of Steward Gix from the Dermond Priory, the leader of that organization, standing on a little footstool so he can lean on the table like everyone else and point to things, gesturing as you come in. There is also kind of standing aloof off to one side in kind of red and gold breastplate and dark crimson sleeves, Lightbringer Velasquez, the current leader of the Order of Whispers. And each of them have 2 or 3 adjutants that are around gathering materials, transferring paperwork from one table to another, keeping notes. You are all ushered in, and Lightbringer Velasquez first turns to you all and says, "Hello again. It is good to see you all. I heard you were recently returned to the city. Congratulations. They tell me you single-handedly took out the White Mantle leadership. This is quite a feat."
It is. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah,
50 people in one day.
yeah. Buffing our numbers.
Unparalleled body count outside of active war. But then we saw your capabilities at Claw. Well, the most concerning thing I found in the debriefings we've had was the idea that the White Mantle had a base of operations, and my organization had no knowledge of it. To keep such a thing a secret is quite a feat. The Order of Whispers prides itself on knowing the unknowable.
It was really like way out in the middle of nowhere.
They had some weird channeling magic too, it seemed like. With old Grimace.
Yeah, it also seemed to be protected by and large from any kind of divination. So
Mm.
I can imagine that makes it quite a bit more challenging.
Indeed. I will have to make sure we consult with some of the more artful members of the Priory. See what kind of protections we can get around these parts. And he kind of looks at Gix while he's saying all this. And the steward is currently talking to Traherne in kind of hushed tones and pointing to a map. It takes a hot second to look up. We're already well enough protected here. We've got this place warded till next Tuesday. Not to worry.
Next Tuesday is fast approaching.
It's an expression.
Oh, okay.
And
Just
he
hadn't heard
turns,
that one before.
Immediately turns back to his work, like not concerned at all with what's going on.
Lightbringer Velasquez, I had the question. Your order tends to know the unknowable. You said, do you all have any like knowledge about the city or the area where Saul de Lesio first found the Meursault or anything like that? Have you all ever looked into that by chance?
I cannot say that we have. Uh, my order is largely concerned with threats against humanity from supernatural sources.
I mean, the Meursault?
This
You
is
know.
true, but we were founded in Elona, originally
Hmm.
to fight against the Lich Palawa Joko, and since moving to the mainland of Tyria, we have focused more on demonic threats. I suppose the Mersat could have been considered that, but we believed all of them to be perished. Unfortunately, I do not. Steward? And Gix again stops speaking with Traherne and just says, well, now we've never really looked into human myths and legends. White Mantles never really posed any threat to the Priory, but I suppose we could begin looking into it if you think it's important.
Well, it's just did the Countess by chance or anybody speak to you about Lazarus at all? Has that come up? I know it's been a busy few days for everyone.
She mentioned something about it in passing. You know,
Yeah.
there's a book. I'll have to ask Grandfather Zatembe to try to get a copy of it for you, but the Ratasum is actually built on the ruins of an older civilization. People speculated that that could have been Mersat technology that we found when my people emerged from the depths of Tyria. So, it is technically in the Maguma region. It could be our ruins or a ruin of similar size and location.
That would make sense. We spoke with Saul de Lesio, I guess, and as he mentioned that the city was somewhere in the West Maguma, in the deep West Maguma. But the reason I bring it up is because Lazarus not only split his soul, it seems, into the Eye of Jantir, but possibly could have into other objects as well. So just, to kind of keep your eye out if you happen to be doing any archaeological digs or anything in those areas for potentially potent magical items that might have been enchanted by such dark magics.
Oh, of course, yes. We'll absolutely keep an eye out on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just remembered I have the confessor's head in the bag of holding.
Oh, right. We were supposed to interrogate.
I guess we would have told Anise that at the fortress because she's gonna find his decapitated body.
Yeah. Also, if you're cool with it, I would just say that Anise would take that into custody. They have
I don't.
similar means of questioning it. At the
Yeah.
human high temple. The priestess of Grenth could talk with it.
Okay, we have asked her to ask specifically, or then inform us, I guess, specifically about how he came to know the Eye of Jantir, about that relationship in more detail, I guess.
Yeah. So over those couple of days, I would say that if you've given the head into her custody, she would have had it kind of interred within the high temple to the Sixth in Divinity's Reach, so that the clergy of Grenth could preserve it and access it as needed. But it's under heavy lock, key, and guard. She would tell you that the nature of the magic, the answers you get can sometimes be cryptic or a little less than you want, but she's happy to ask the questions. And the simple answer is that he was recruited into the White Mantle by an Inquisitor at some point. And as he rose through the ranks, part of becoming a Justiciar and kind of moving up in responsibility is communing with the Eye at the Stronghold. Once that made itself manifest, he began a journey of trying to understand it better as a way to gain power. He wasn't really a zealot. He was using the mantle as a tool for his own power until you gather that the animus that you get to question with the head is unaware.
Mhm.
But judging on the answers he gives, like you would, I would say with Anise, because she's like a master inquisitor, you gather that he gradually came under the influence of Lazarus, and recently, like in the last couple of years, started to focus on Lazarus' agenda rather than his own.
Interesting. Okay. Also, does that mean they have like a Futurama style room where they just keep heads of people they may need to question?
No, this would be like just a
That'd be so
special
cool.
like crypt,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
properly warded by the priesthood.
Do they have any idea how long that the Eye of Janthier was there at the like stronghold?
No.
Okay.
In questioning, they would have just found out that as long as Caudicus was associated with the mantle, it was there. So as you continue your debriefing with the leadership of the Pact, Lightbringer Velasquez kind of leads you over to the table and begins a briefing that explains the repairs on Claw Island continue and are making excellent progress. They're nearly complete. The combined forces of Asuran Magitech, Iron Legion engineers, and all the Pact forces, Asuran golems from Ratasum have been kind of donated to automate some of the work and have creatures that can do labor 24/7 without rest and without supplies. So they're making progress and nearly finished fortifying that location. Very similarly, repairs on the ships, the Lion Guard Navy, are nearly complete, and so they have shifted their focus now to working on outfitting their troops. They are actively recruiting from all of the available kingdoms to get volunteers to come fight the fight. And Velasquez says that scouts have recently returned and reported in about the Orion situation. He says, thanks to some new technology, Pact scouts were able to covertly observe the lands of Or and have come up with some valuable intelligence. And he takes a sheaf of parchment and rolls it out, and it's like this big, like dorm poster size map. And I would say Galatar, with your just like passive, and probably Birdie with your history proficiencies, or your ability to recall historical information.
I'm a little proficient in everything, so
Yeah. You recognize the coastline of Or. And it seems to be a relatively detailed map. There are maps of Or, but it's kind of like looking at like sailing maps from Earth around like the 1300s. You know, like it kind of shows the shape of things, but it's not very precise. But this map is much more precise. You've never seen something this accurate of the land of Or. He says, most of the landmass is desolate. There are large coral formations and dead undersea vegetation that covers the barren surface of the land. There are plentiful ruins, an entire civilization underwater for centuries. And the smell is almost unbearable. Everything is coated in a fine slime, and there are barnacles everywhere, but there are no signs of life. Occasionally, if you keep watch for long enough, risen hordes patrol the shorelines at regular intervals. There are giants among them, terrible undead zombie giants. The risen fleet is all but destroyed, but there are a handful of ships that still patrol the waters offshore. We easily outnumber them, though they won't be pushovers. And he kind of looks at General Soulkeeper, who just kind of snarls and says, "Yes, well, I'm not really concerned with their naval forces. I'm sure the Lion Guard can handle that. I'm more worried about what my men will encounter when we make landing." Lightbringer nods and says, "Yes, the real threat seems to be concentrated in Ara, the ancient city of the gods. An army of corpses, themselves covered with barnacles, coral growths, and slime, are amassed between the coast and the city's main gates." At this point, Marshal Traherne, who has sat quietly, kind of steps up to take center stage and says, "And this is where my knowledge comes in. Zaitan makes his lair in the heart of Ara. I did not understand why when I first journeyed there, all those years ago. But with the Priory's help, I was able to discover a central focus of magical power lies within the ruins. A magical pool where the human gods first set foot upon this world. I believe that Zaitan stays very close to this source of power to nourish himself, even as his minions seek out other sources of magic for him to devour. Now that we have some proper intelligence, the real planning begins. Over the next few weeks, we'll be putting things in place for an assault on Ara itself. We'll land on the coast, here, here, here," and he points to the western shore of this very large kind of island landmass. "We'll make our landing and fight our way to the gates. But we'll send another scouting team to get more specifics between now and then. We were hoping you would join us. You're the most experienced fighters we have, and undoubtedly the most powerful as a group. We couldn't have taken Claw Island without you. Would you all consider becoming formal members of the Pact, following myself and the other heads of the orders in the battle against Zaitan?"
Team
Yeah.
huddle, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's
just
hope-
team huddle real quick. Team huddle.
yeah, let's do it.
Please do.
Yeah, so I feel like we're all probably on board, but I just want to make them think that we're kind of thinking it over. You know, it's going to be a hard sell. Is there anything we can ask for? Maybe we get like a. We already have a building in that for us.
I like that we got a medal last time because we did a good
Yeah.
job. Could we
I
get
think
the
a medal.
medal again?
We can
Yeah.
talk that into the deal. Yeah.
Do you want to make sure we get
for
rights
your
to?
golden statue.
That's true. Do you want to make sure we get rights to all the Orient artifacts that we find? Like just that they
Oh,
wouldn't
I
try
like
to take
that.
them
I
from
like
us
that.
with their
Yeah.
whole prohibitions?
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
about
Okay.
like
No,
shirts?
What was that, Brina?
If like a t-shirts or something?
T-shirts would be good. Yeah, we can do that.
Are you
Okay.
taking notes?
Yeah, I'm
I
taking
think,
notes.
I mean, we can afford to buy our own clothes. We
Well, it's more like
have a shitload of money.
It's like
It's-
commemorative. It's commemorative shirt.
Trollskull Six members of the Pact,
Right.
and there's like a symbol, and it's like
Right.
a
you mean like
Yeah.
for all of us to wear in the pact?
and like
Yeah.
like jerseys for the sword.
Yeah.
But we need to wear our armor.
Right.
We put it under the armor, and you know that you're wearing it.
Okay, Brina, maybe
Okay.
we come back to the shirt.
Matching underwear, that's
That's interesting. Bertie,
Okay.
I do have an idea specifically for you. Maybe you should
Oh.
ask that they give business cards for the Trollskull Six to all the partners of the Pact upon the successful mission, so that if they want to contact us in the future, you know, they know who to get the hold of.
They're all in this room. I can just like. I
No,
can
no,
do
no,
that.
but all the
I've-
like
I've-
kingdoms they're recruiting from and
I've
everybody.
given
Save yourself
cards to
some
most
time.
of the people in the pact. I'm pretty sure, actually.
I really don't
But
think
not
it's a
everybody.
negotiation. I think it's just we join or we don't.
See, Galatar, I think that's the difference. I don't think you quite understand the business cards because it's about that personal connection. It's not just getting a card.
You're right. I don't get it because you keep telling them they can contact us through it, and I try, and you can't.
While they're
Okay.
still huddled, Kitri's gonna just turn to Traherne and be like, "We're in. I don't think that's a question."
We have a couple requests.
As we're
Questions.
arguing about business cards.
We have a couple requests. First of all, when we defeated the White Mantles, we got medals in Divinity's Reach, which Brina very much enjoyed. And we would like to request that should Zaitan be defeated and we, help out with that we all receive commemorative medals.
Like, it doesn't need to be
Paula
like
is just like super embarrassed and looking at her feet.
My friend Brina enjoyed that very much, and we would like to do that again.
You could consider these things just for maybe Bertie and Brina.
I'm okay with that. Second request would also be that we get exceptions made for any Orion artifacts we find. We would like to find as keepers those and
Users, weavers.
have access to those here.
As you talk about getting medals, Steward Gix, like standing on his stool and leaning on the table, is just looking at you like jaw agape.
Gix is a dick, I don't mind.
Strange expression. General Almora is looking at Kala like arched eyebrow, and like her eye keeps darting back between like you and Traherne and the other members. Like she it almost looks like she's curious to see like, is this a joke she's not aware of? Is this human humor?
Yeah, I'll say in Char, like, I don't really get it. It's a human Norn thing.
Yeah, she looks
Bertie-
very
Bertie
confused.
says in Char, I heard that. As he
Yeah.
speaks.
And his accent is horrible
Yeah.
because
His profession.
because Char language is weird and they have different
Oh,
vocals.
yeah.
in it.
It's Butch,
Yeah.
but he says, I heard that.
Yeah, there's just this weird, like, you watch as Elmora like crinkles her nose a little bit, like Lightbringer Velasquez is purple. Like he's just like trying so hard to keep his laughter inside. Like,
I know it's difficult.
he has
Those
his
are our
hand over his mouth
terms.
and he's just shaking
Yeah.
with laughter.
I know it's hard. Those are our terms. I'm sorry. It's take it or leave it, I'm afraid.
Traherne like tosses a quill down onto the table and just like pinches his nose.
We could have like one meeting where someone doesn't do that.
I would
Just
say,
one.
and I also want to stipulate,
One.
I want my medal to have a purple ribbon, please. I thought blue was fine, but I prefer purple.
Like the purple.
Traherne says, if we defeat Zaitan, and that is by no means assured,
At least.
Right.
it will be done as the Pact and not as individuals.
Right.
Well, you can have a medal too if you want.
I mean, I don't care. I just would like to make sure I get a medal at
As
the end.
far as the spoils of war, should you find something on the shores of Or in your fighting, you are welcome to pick it up and carry it with you. Or was lost beneath the sea for hundreds of years. And whatever's there, no living man has claim.
Actually makes it very easy to find magic weapons. They'll be the only ones not arrested.
So we're 50% there from what I can see. You know, we're good on the artifacts.
Oh, can I add a request?
Like one of Traherne's eyes just like, twitches a little bit.
No. This is like you'll want this to happen. If we manage to kill Zaitan and we return victorious, can I help with like the studying of the dragons, Boti, and like all the like magical research and stuff that I assume we would be conducting? I would just like to be a part of it if possible. You know, if we're alive.
He looks down to Steward Gix, who just says, I would assume we'd be welcoming of any additional minds at that stage. Yes, of course.
Well, you just
Balthazar is literally asking permission to be a nerd.
Well, they were just kind of picky about the medals. I wanted to make sure they were okay with me being a researcher. You know.
So we're 2/3 of the way there. I just need a verbal commitment on the medals and we're in.
Kitri's gonna lean over to Traherne and say, "I will literally buy the medals. Just say that they'll be there, and you know I'll take care of it."
Listen, if we're all gonna die by a dragon, we might as well celebrate after if we don't die by the dragon.
Traherne like just waves a hand
Okay.
for silence and just says, I am sure that should any of us survive the coming struggle, there will be celebration enough to please whoever survives. If you are willing to join this pact, I need to be sure you are not just sellswords. I need to know your hearts are in it, and that you are doing it to help all the sentient races of Tyria, and not for a piece of shiny coin. I thought from our previous interactions, and the stories that I've heard of your exploits, that you were more nobly motivated. I
Traherne,
am rather disappointed in you, my friend.
if I may, I just want to point out that we are unorthodox, but you also have to understand we are constantly dealing with death and with other things. We like to have a little bit of fun. Of course, we're going to help you, but this is our way of like making it more lighthearted and enjoyable for ourselves. We have to have something that takes off some of the stress of the whole world possibly dying. You know,
As I said, I am certain, I am confident there will be ample celebration.
Which will include.
I mean, I already
medals,
said that
maybe?
I'm in.
Almora just
in.
leans in and says, just say yes. And Traherne, there's just this oppressive sigh. Fine. What
And
have
we
you
are.
required?
We are at your service.
For the record,
It's like cub
the-
minding sometimes, but
the rest of us were in before that. But if Bertie and Brina and kind of Galatar are on conditional terms, the rest of us are fine.
not on conditional terms. I just want to have fun. We're probably going to die. Why not enjoy the last few days we have alive? You know.
Damn, Galatar, that was dark.
Mm.
I was gonna be
They're
in.
not talking about giving you medals before you go.
Yeah. No, I'm just
This is
saying,
an
like,
afterward
we're
thing.
just having like the enjoyment of planning what it would be like if we survive. You know. Got to have hope.
Or is it?
Nobody's ever defeated one of these dragons before.
Traherne takes a moment. He says, you'll need to carry a rank. Something that will get you access to the intelligence reports, but still allow you the freedom to act independently as needed. Your thoughts,
no.
Almora? And the general thinks for a minute. Oh. Commander, perhaps?
maybe lower.
Would allow them to come and go. Without a specific assignment, they wouldn't be able to order around the battalions or anything like that, but they would be able to access our briefings. And
I
I
think
that-
probably
I think
I'll just be coming to any briefings.
Oh,
Well,
no,
now
want to be
I
a
mean,
briefing.
we all need to be involved.
Strategy is important.
I'll sit
Yeah.
in the back, I promise.
You guys will just be bored.
No, I have a
I'll
lot
go
of
to the
knowledge
board
of
meeting.
Say I don't
strategy
care.
meetings.
I'll bring the
No.
notes back.
I love
That's
strategy
honestly,
meetings
no,
and
I'm
taking
okay with
notes.
that, actually,
Maybe
that's preferred.
just give us the title of Special Forces.
Hmm.
That way, it's loose enough that we are designated as
Or the
things we can
special
do.
command.
Somewhat special forces.
Mostly special forces.
Traherne just says, we will need you to attend briefings when you can. I understand you've been doing good work in Kryta and Ascalon, freeing up resources to help the Pact. And if you can keep doing that while we plan this assault, that would be marvelous. I'm told there's a sort of exhibition that's been arranged in the arena. I've been coordinating with the priesthood of Balthazar, the Zaishen. I think we've arranged something useful. We'll consider this an opportunity to lift morale in anticipation of the coming front, perhaps to help us recruit some more soldiers if they see you perform
Hopefully.
well.
Hmm.
I was told you asked for a deadly encounter. I've been
Yeah.
working with some specialists. I believe we've arranged something quite spectacular.
That's
I look
exciting.
forward to reviewing your performance.
So also off kidding and joking and stuff aside, what I know that we're going to be helping you with this, but like, what exactly are you expecting us to do? Just fight alongside other people, like go in advance and sort of infiltrate the head that prepare the way for people? Like, what's, you know, are you
At the
thinking?
moment, the only battle plans we have are we've identified 3 points of ingress where we will land on the beach. The idea is to fight our way to the gates of the city. After that, I'm not quite sure. We're gonna have to send another group of scouts to provide some more detailed reconnaissance. But, fortunately, we've recently come into possession of some pretty astonishing technology. Gix, do you have the plans? And Gix, oh yes, just a moment. And he hops down from his stool and jogs over to a table and snaps his fingers, and you see his 2 little adjutants. There's a sort of young human woman and a rather thin male char, both in priory robes, kind of hoof it over to this table and start ruffling through things, and they end up pulling a long parchment sheaf out of a rolled up canister, and he brings that back over, hops up on his stool, and he unrolls it on this table over the map of Or. And as Traherne continues, yes, here. One of the merchant princes here in Lion's Arch has been recently secretly working with some Asuran Synergetics crews and some Iron Legion engineers. I've rarely seen collaboration between the races like this outside of the Pact, but it appears Lady Highwind has been developing a new vessel. They retrofit existing seafaring ships here in the port with a sort of well, it's best to just see, and he continues to roll out this parchment. They attach some sort of balloon that carries the ships on currents of air rather than water. We're calling them airships for the time being. It's not very creative, but it's to the point. Please keep this to yourself for now. Word is bound to get out, but we are trying to keep it strictly need to know for the moment. The fewer people that have this knowledge, the less likely it is they shall be corrupted by Zaitan and add that knowledge to the store he can use against us.
Interesting.
Your compatriot, Mr. Zord, was
Oh.
instrumental in introducing us to Lady Highwind and her efforts. I gather that the Asuran and Iron Legion collaboration played a large part in constructing his underwater vessel.
Imagine so. He's quite the powerful ally if you do what he wants.
Yeah, compatriot's a strong word.
As I gather, he is rather persuasive when the need arises.
That's the way to put
Fortunately,
it.
the proof of concept has turned out even better than we'd hoped. Our initial scouts journeyed to Or on one of these new prototype vessels. We were sure to outfit it with 16 long guns, and yes, and fortunately so, it appears there are several rather formidable young drakes that have been killed and corrupted in the service of Zaitan, much like the one you fought here in the Crow's Nest before.
Hmm.
They were able to successfully defend themselves against it, against one of them that attacked the ship as it patrolled the shores. They dared not get too close to the city for fear that the Elder Dragon himself might make an appearance. Fortunately, that did not happen, and they were able to return to us. I believe next time, and he moves the blueprint out of the way, points to a section of the map of Ur. I believe next time we shall land them here, and they'll make an incursion inland through this ancient road and try to find another way into the city. It won't be accessible from the shore, but hopefully if they come in at a low enough altitude, we'll be able to avoid the aerial threats that seem to patrol around Ara. In any case, whenever you return to Lion's Arch, do stop by. If I know you're in the city, I'll call you here and we can have a briefing, and I'll keep you updated as to what the latest intelligence reports have yielded and where stand the battle plans.
All right.
Very well. I'll draft the paperwork, General, and Almora just nods her head. Yes, we'll get working on that. I'll have Sergeant Mortimer bring them by. You all can sign them, and you will officially be commanders of the Pact. You won't be able to
Alright.
issue instructions. You'll be a part of your own private unit, but the rank of commander will have you access to us, the intelligence reports, and prevent any of our lieutenants and sub-generals from trying to commandeer your services.
Great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Traherne says, well, for the time being, your time is yours. Prepare yourselves. I expect this spectacle to be impressive. We will be trying to use it as a recruiting tool. It would be less than optimal to see you all killed on the field of battle.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be pretty embarrassing.
You
I
would
think
want
it's going to
that.
be a good fight.
We will have the priests of the Zyshen order on hand should the worst happen, but you did request the highest challenge level from them.
This is Ryan letting us know, like,
Give us the best odds.
Is that
Yeah,
what
we wanted the
did?
best gambling odds. Don't you guys remember?
It does carry with it the slight risk of destruction, complete and total.
Oh!
oh,
It's fine.
Is
yeah.
unlikely.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
well,
don't
there's
Reminder
no
want,
about the
point in fighting
reincarnate.
if it's easy.
yeah, we don't want that because then no medals,
No.
right? You know, I mean,
Fortunately,
it's,
the Zyshen order agree with you, so we shall see.
Still 2-1 odds, right? On the deadly fight.
Traherne just says, "Oh, I assure you, I have no idea. I don't gamble myself."
really.
God
You should
damn
try it. It's fun. Brina's a great gambler.
Don't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
He just like stares kind of nonplussed at you all for a heartbeat.
Poor
Fate of
man.
the world.
Well.
Fate of the world.
Yeah,
And he turns around
I-
and just sort of like walks away to a table and starts
I
flipping
think
through
his
papers.
opinion of us has slowly gone down.
I think we're dismissed, and I'll try to like.
I mean, what is adventuring philosophically if
everyone
not
out.
gambling with your lives? You know what I mean?
Almora nods at you all and just says, "Yes, please feel free to spend your time as you like until called for. As soon as we have a need, we'll let you know."
As we leave, Brina kind of pops her head back in and says, Traherne, I do want you to know that we do take this seriously, and I speak on behalf of myself, but Jormag has caused my family and my people much torment, and so while I am still alive, I'll dedicate myself to your cause.
He doesn't really look up at you. He's at the other side of this very large room looking at a table full of papers, but he stops. You can see his hands like stop moving. And he turns his head. He doesn't look at you, but he inclines his head so that his voice travels better. And he just says, quietly, "I know. They affect us all. Thank you."
What about them? With that said,
Back.
I still think the medals are a good idea. Anyways, bye.
Oh god.
Hate you all so much.
Amazing.
I feel like Bernie is going down the stairs, like talking to Kala. He's like, there used to be pageantry in the armed forces. I mean, real pageantry. What happened to it, Kala? How do you handle? They're so. they're so stiff. They're so tight. These people. I feel like they're wound like a clock.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
Like,
Props to you. Props to you.
I-
If I were in
Char like
charge
to
of
fight, and like
right.
fighting is how they relax. So
Yeah.
we don't
I
need the
mean,
medals and stuff and the parties.
you look at the state of our armed forces. The uniforms are all earth tone. I mean, it's all earth tones all the way down.
It's called camouflage.
Why would you want that? I don't see the sense. It's beyond me, Kala. It's beyond me. I just don't understand it.
What happened to the guns that aren't really guns, but you use to march and like?
Back in my day, we'd just twirl those things up into the air.
For no reason at all. What happened to all the flags? There were so many flags. Can you guys tell I know what the military is?
I can tell you seen Cadet Kelly.
I've seen Cadet Kelly. You're damn right about that, Chandler.
Having flashbacks of Good Morning Vietnam. I don't like this camouflage
yeah.
because you go into the jungle, I can't see you. If you're going to war,
God,
make a statement.
Robin
If you're going to
Williams.
fight, clash.
I do love that movie.
It's a good one.
Okay, so we've been playing for about 2 hours. Let's take like a 5-minute bio break, and then
Yeah.
we will come back and do downtime.
Mhm.
So, as we resume, we move into a period where you guys have a bit of downtime, some rest, recuperation. You have defeated an exceedingly powerful foe, come through some pretty dark trauma, so you can take this time to level up. You develop any new skills that would be appropriate to develop over time. Let's start with Alexa. What would you like to do during your downtime?
Well, the first thing I will do is I do my wandering around. I will go see Melanie first. We'll do the fun stuff first.
Okay.
How long is this downtime?
About a week.
A week?
6 or 7 days. Yeah, Melody Marshgrass is in her herbalism shop, her greenhouse. Not, as usual, thrilled to see a member of the Trollskull Six enter her
I thought
space.
she'd warmed up to us because we bought drugs from her last time.
In a manner of speaking, she's a little less cold in the way that, like 40 degrees is less cold than 30.
Well,
a tepid ice cube.
Take your wins when you get them.
Yeah, little baby steps. Yeah.
All I hear is her heart is melting. So
Slowly
Yes,
but
she
surely.
is in her shop, and of course, with the blessing of Zardoz, she is willing to do business. If there is anything particular you would like to purchase from her.
I'll just ask if you've had anything new come by your shop.
A wide variety of illicit substances. Not a terribly large stockpile of them, but an impressive variety. She does have a couple doses of fancy cat mushrooms. I think I actually wrote descriptions for the items. So, small pouches of dried, vivid purple mushroom caps. Make you see things. Sometimes fun, sometimes not so much. Couple of little vials of a bitter liquid that, once swallowed, make you feel an incredible sort of like intense tingling pleasure. She kind of jokes and says it gets you hard as a rock.
Oh, I need definitely one of those.
Yeah, there you can absolutely have that. That is 50 gold per dose.
Only 50. Okay, yeah, and I'll just take one and a fancy cap as well, of course.
Those are 100 gold a dose.
It's 150.
She has a couple of different roots that you can chew. One of them just is, like a slight tingle on the tongue. Sharp, sort of acrid smell, leaves your your tongue and your teeth kind of discolored, called black root.
Yeah.
It's just a cheap, quick fix. It's like fantasy cigarettes or tobacco. She does have some dream leaf that you're familiar with.
I got plenty of that still in my room.
She has another chewable root. You just kind of like put it in your mouth and chew it like you'd be chewing on a toothpick almost. It kind of tickles you. You find things amusing, sometimes extremely so, while using that. He calls it cackle root.
I think I remember that one.
That is 10 gold a dose.
No, I think I will take just the 2 then.
Okay. Yeah, easily done.
And whilst I'm in the neighborhood, I will pop over and talk to Schema
Hmm.
and ask her if she's busy or if there's a way I could perhaps contract her time to help me build the valet.
Make a persuasion check.
There it is.
24.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she's intrigued by this whole process, and having been the one who acquired the parts, is kind of curious to see what comes of it. So she's willing to lend her assistance, on the condition that you allow her to copy the plans for her own use.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no reason why she couldn't have already, kind of thing. So yes.
Okay. Yeah, easily done.
Shall I go ahead and just make that Arcana check now then?
We can do that. Yeah. Let me bring up your page here. So I have the valet. Alright. Work weeks, did that. Once all the parts are assembled, putting it together requires only a week of downtime and an Arcana check. Yeah, so it's just a DC 20 Arcana.
All right, here we go.
Hey!
Oh, that was why I needed to. Oh yeah, and how much was she asked to pay? Like, because I am kind of contractor business style.
Her trade, because of your incredibly high persuasion roll, is the
Oh,
copy of the plans
I
and the
appreciate
experience
that.
of doing it so that she can do it on her own. Yeah. So yeah, you now have the valet golem, which I believe.
Whoa, you have it?
Yes, it's not a combat pet,
Yeah, still though.
Still cool.
but another little fun thing around the house.
We can hang out with Grim.
It's very similar, if not. I may actually have just used the stat block for the Artificer's Defender Golem.
Hmm.
But here, let me put this in Zoom. I think you can see that with the link.
Yes.
The Valet Golem. If it were to get into a combat situation. But yeah, so you now have a little friend.
It's like a bouncer at the bar, a little more mechanical.
That's cool. Yeah.
At some point, I like to think that Brina is sitting around the house with oh shit, what's its name? The little one,
Mala.
Mala,
Yeah.
and also kind of hovering in the room is Grimace, and then Alexa comes walking in the door all confident with Valet.
God.
You guys are starting
then
a little
just start-
collection of constructs.
Dog hanging out with him.
Right.
He doesn't have any other friends yet. Just Biscuit.
Did you guys permanently give the dog to Fallon?
No.
If it was
She's just
permanent,
I
taking care of it,
like one
mean,
retainer.
Yeah.
just every
It's
weekend.
just effectively like, yeah, you guys come home for the weekend to get the dog.
Hangs out with us for the week, and then we're like, all right, we're out. Now it's the weekend. We need our away time from the dog.
I just imagine that he and Mala have become like how cats and dogs sometimes become very cute friends that don't really make sense. I just assume that that's how he and Mala are, and they like cuddle up together now.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can frequently find the dog on the floor by the fireplace and Mala like kind of curled up. It's curled up around Mala and it's just sitting there beeping and humming
No.
like a cat sleeping on a hot air vent. Yeah.
I just say radiates a little arcane heat.
Okay. Anything else, Alexa?
Yes. I would like to talk to Kolinar.
Oh.
So I
Easy
will
enough to
go
do.
to his home and just knock on his door rather than invade his mind.
He appreciates that discretion and greets you warmly. Is absolutely happy to talk to another master of the arcane.
And I'll tell him on one of our recent journeys, we found something that's extremely powerful and just slightly personally unnerving. I was wondering if you had any way to ward against divination magic.
He kind of considers that for a moment and then
Like a room, just like a specific, just small area.
he puts on a kettle, pours a cuppa, and sits there and has a little tea with you as he goes over the fundamentals of warding magic, like the non-detection spell, items that you're familiar with, like the amulet of proof against detection and location, and also higher level magic like private sanctum, guards and wards, and things like that can basically like a primer on abjuration and detection from divination. Yeah. Certainly easy enough to spend an evening discussing that to kind of give yourself some ideas if you were interested in
Is it
space
anything
against
that
it.
he would be able to do for me?
Permanent?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I thought you were just questioning about the knowledge of it.
Oh no, sorry, I should have been more specific.
I think that would be private sanctum. I think that protects against divination. 4th level spell.
Oh, it's not that high.
Not terribly. Material component. Oh, it's not bad at all.
I was gonna say that might be what's insane.
It's
Or
a
not.
couple of pieces of small stuff, but it doesn't consume it necessarily. Magic secure. Spell lasts for 24 hours.
Oh, is it like over a year?
It is, for the most part, and I reserve the right to change this ruling later, but I prefer in my games the cycles of the moon to govern that sort of thing, because I never plan on ever giving players a year of downtime. So if you cast it every day for a full cycle of the moon, I would say you could instantiate a permanent effect like that, or like a teleportation circle, Galatar. If you wanted to build one in the Trollskull Manor, 30 days of casting it every day, I would say would let that function. But yeah, that can ward against sound, targeting by divination spells, teleporting in and out. Yeah, planar travel, all of that. And it can make it
Does
up
it
to
ward
100
against my-
feet on a side.
It wards against my own planar travel though, and my own teleportation. Is it a full blanket?
You can choose any or all of the following properties.
Okay.
Technically, yes. You're basically shielding so that you can't teleport into or out of that area.
Well, but I would just choose divination magic.
Yeah, you could if that's all you wanted. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I just don't want Birdie scrying on me with his fucking orb.
I'm not attuned to that, so
Oh, that's right. Well, but still.
Yeah.
If that's all you want, you can just have the amulet.
No, I want my room. It's just I don't care about him looking at me, but in my room, I mean, let's be real here.
Kolinar explains that his tower is so warded So this is an ability that he is familiar with, and if you would like it, since it only costs him time and effort, and no material cost, he's happy to work with you to do this.
I would be
Because
extremely
you
appreciative.
and the gang are friends of his now. Normally he wouldn't expend that much effort on people, but you guys are special.
Whatever you would like in compensation.
He just kind of chuckles a little. I'm sure I'll think of something someday. Let's just say you owe me one.
I can appreciate that. Thank you much. And then I will leave. And the last thing I would like to do is try to find a scroll of arcane lock.
Okay, so you don't find one ready for sale in town, but as part of the discussion of security, I would say that comes up, and for the cost of the materials, 250 gold pieces,
I didn't even
Kolinar can
consider.
scribe one for you. Yeah. So yeah, he can absolutely create one for you if you wish.
Yes. I'll give him the 250.
Cool. Ink. Oh yeah. So I guess that doesn't appear on the sorcerer spell list.
No, I do not have access to it, actually. So yes, once I have my scroll in hand, I will one day, probably near the end of the week, flag down Galatar.
Yeah.
Gally, can you help me with something real quick? This is a little outside of my magical ability.
Sure. Anything you need.
It just, if you could cast this, and I'll hand you the arcane lock, on my chest.
I already have the spell.
Well, you know.
Here, I'll just save you the spell scroll if you want. I could just do it tomorrow, then you could save the spell scroll if you need it for something else.
No, it's fine. You can, just not waste the time, and already made it made just because, you know, good to be prepared.
Sure. Yeah. I'll go ahead and do this for you. No problem. So I'll just take the spell scroll and cast it.
You now have an arcane lock cast on your safe.
Yes, thank you very much.
Plus 10 to the DC of that.
Nice.
Ain't nobody getting in there.
Yeah.
Save Kala.
Then you round out the week just kind of developing the new spells you choose.
Yes.
Practicing in your space. Once it's warded against spying.
Oh, that's just more for fun.
Yeah. Well, it lets you sit in your upstairs bedroom playing with yourself.
It does.
Unobserved.
All right, yeah, that does in fact end my downtime.
Okay. Kala.
Yes.
You're gonna talk to Kolinar. Is there other stuff you want to do first?
No, I need to buy new vials because I'm out.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody
Easy
took
enough.
them.
I think I'm gonna buy some new clothes too, just because we have like a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Just buy some fancy Lion's Arch style char clothes.
Hola! You
Yeah.
look
actually
rather
find,
dashing.
There's like one particular merchant. You get the recommendation from Eva Nashblade, the char that runs the Black Lion Trading Company, who is arguably the best dressed char in town. And you find that there's a char tailor here who is quite good at specifically designing clothes for your species. So yes, easily done. For something that is not like Met Gala fashion, but like top fancy pirate merchant
Yeah,
aesthetic,
pirate clothes.
like fine silks, fine materials, like 50 gold for an outfit. You buy as many as you want, however you'd like to describe them. Fancy hats with feathers, like whatever.
Can I have?
50
Do you have the name of this tailor?
I do not handy. No.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, I just buy like one new outfit. Oh,
Okay. 'Cause, 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 'cause
Carla, you look rather dashing. Do I detect a new ensemble, perhaps?
Yeah, that's new.
Okay, well, let's see the others. Go ahead. We'll do a
No,
little
it's just
fashion show.
this.
Hmm?
I just bought one.
Why on earth would you do that?
Like, I can only wear one at a time, so
That's fair.
That
Oh,
is-
you're nice. Can you do
You
this?
look very good. Yes, very well done. Very proud of you. Very proud of you. You look.
yeah.
It puts
I'll
you
do it.
together
Ben.
very well.
It does.
Like
It
a
does.
like a pirate's frock coat, kind of bells out a little bit.
Yeah.
She turns
Nice.
dashing.
Swashbuckling. I'm loving it. Hoo-hoo.
I like to think it's got a lot of like blue and green, kind of a sea theme that really offsets the bright gold of her hair and like the orange of her fur.
Hmm. Like it.
Easily done.
Yeah, then I'm just gonna go hang out with Kolinar.
Just spend some time catching him up, telling him all about the separatists
Yeah.
and the White Mantle, and yeah,
It's a long story this time.
he
Bounce around a
finds
lot.
the whole thing about Lazarus and the eye extremely intriguing. He questions you pretty thoroughly about the Bloodstone, and I'll say when he goes to help Alexa at the manor, he definitely takes a hard look at Grimace. Talks to Galatar about that, and you know is very interested because it's all sort of alien magic to him. It's not something in his wheelhouse. And yeah, you spend some quality time.
Oh, and I'll give him the branded red iris flower.
Yes, he gets really excited when you pull that out. It's like it's still every now and then as you move it, it kind of crackles just a little bit with static. So he kind of hooks his arm around yours and takes you up to the like the alchemy lab bench overlooking the open tower. Starts doing little experiments on it to try to tease some information about it. And it's kind of like a giving a child a toy. You can see he's very animated, excited about it.
And I'm gonna talk to him a little bit about magic and Char using magic because Kala's kind of like afraid to use too much magic because she thinks she'll like go crazy.
Okay. I would
Because
say
Char
given-
like, I don't know.
Yeah. Given the history, he is human, so he understands Char human history. I would say over several afternoons and evenings spent, walking the quays, the dockside areas, getting food to eat, sitting out overlooking the harbor and talking about history and the nature of magic and Char culture. He kind of puts your mind at ease that between the two of you, you yourself are able to kind of tease out and come to the conclusion that the Flame Legion wasn't necessarily corrupted by magic. They just had the most innate connection to it, and the selfishness and ambition of their leadership, their desire to dominate the other legions. Magic was just their tool of choice. They didn't have the inherent skill that the other legions had with stealth or engineering or outright bloodthirsty battle skill. And reflecting on your experience among the Flame, like you do remember there weren't many, but you remember there were some males who were like they weren't great people, but they weren't like vile, wicked, torturous, cruel villains either. Like they're just like kind of jerks.
Yeah,
who
just
maybe
not as bad as the rest.
Yeah, like growing up being taught how to treat people and what Flame was all about, like, the thought occurs to you that it may be possible that some people in Flame are not complete assholes. What's the line from Guardians of the Galaxy? It's like, I don't believe anyone's necessarily 100%
Yeah.
a dick. Especially as Kolinar kind of goes into the deeper parts of human history, the influence of the fallen god Abaddon and the Titans that originally kind of brought about the downfall of the Mersat and corrupted the leaders of the Flame into the sort of zealous shaman fanatics that they are. Like it was a lot of demonic kind of outside influence, and the people in power now have basically just continued using the leverage that that era of leadership brought them. It's actually, as you consider it, it's not so different from the White Mantle.
Hmm.
You know, without corrupt, awful, totalitarian leaders, things could change. But magic in and of itself, you know, as Kolinar very patiently explains, is neither good nor evil. It's the application of the magic. Yeah.
All right. Then if no one else wants it, I'm going to attune to the Mersat mantle.
Yeah.
He
I
finds
support
that
this.
particular item.
I assume you'll want to check that out in the
Fascinating.
helmet.
Oh, he goes over them with a fine-tooth magical comb, trying to learn if there's any negative components to using them, any hidden tricks or traps or curses. Yeah, he finds them all very fascinating. He tells you they're extremely old, and it's a type of craftsmanship that he's not seen and could not duplicate. But yeah, certainly doable. So you attune to the mantle. At some point, you guys see Kala walking around with this kind of golden bronze chest plate with pauldrons and a high collar, and floating, you know, a good foot above the ground with these like spectral, mostly transparent tentacles, like kind of waving in the air behind her, like they're underwater. It's that type of movement. Yeah, it's very slowly.
Squid kitty. That's an image I never thought I'd have.
It's a little weird, but it
You
should
think
make
of it
me
like
even
ribbon.
more sneaky.
Very cool.
Yeah, as she wills herself to float around, she's utterly silent.
And I'm also going to invite Kolinar to our exhibition match.
Absolutely.
Well, hang
Yes,
on, we
he
probably won't die.
absolutely accepts. He tells you like, no, I've heard that something exciting was coming. Word's kind of been spreading about the town. They've started putting posters up at the arena. I expect soon they'll be placing them all over town.
Mm.
Do be careful. I worry.
Yeah, I'll be careful. I should be fine. I mean, I don't think it's going to be that hard of a fight.
Oh yeah, did you tell him that you went unconscious?
Famous last words.
So left that part out.
Okay. I know you spent some time training in the arena.
Yes, for my level up thing, I'm going to be training in the arena.
Yeah. So you take stock of all the fights that you've been in and how things have gone, and you leverage those lessons to develop these new skills. I think you get a bonus to your initiative.
Advantage on initiative, and
The first
the
creature
first
you
creature I
tag-
strike in the first round of combat, everyone gets advantage on it until my next turn.
Oh, dude.
Shot caller.
Dang. That's
Okay.
wild.
That's kind of insane, yeah.
It's just for the first round of combat.
That could take out
Still.
one enemy in the first round, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
We
see
might
how it
win
goes
this
in
fight
the
after
arena.
all.
Well, yeah, that's good. Are we? Yeah, we don't know if we're fighting one enemy or multiple
Oh,
deadly
it's
enemies.
multiple.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
great. Love that.
Yes. So,
Do we know that in game or in character?
No,
Cool.
no, you have no idea. You're gonna be surprised.
Shit.
Sakala, I believe, over this time, you put out some feelers, a little perhaps concerned with the sanitation conditions inside
Oh yes,
Trollskull
because
Manor.
no one ever cleans.
It is
Oh.
doable enough. It costs you about 100 gold.
What do you mean no one ever
so-
cleans?
It's 100 gold to clean.
No.
No,
Our house.
One day
I am
you,
upgrading. Yeah,
Okay.
you go ahead.
I'm upgrading the privies to be Azura style.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
What all does that mean?
One day, all of a sudden, you guys hear a
Japanese.
knock on the door, and there are
Oh.
like 6 little Astoran engineers that come in with a set of crates, and just sort of tip their hats and tell you they're here to fix the privies, and they walk upstairs, and your boards with holes in them are upgraded to Asuran bidets. Basically, it's
Waste evacuators.
yeah, waste evacuators. You basically think of it like removing the top of your vanity with like a built-in sink. So like they're placing this on the structure that exists, but when you use it, there are a couple of buttons on the side, like little crystal dials, and it will prestidigitate you and the bowl clean.
Wow.
And there's one that'll for just about a minute it'll produce like a pleasant scent of like lavender or lilac or something. Yeah, prestidigitation effects.
Awesome.
I think the first time Brina sees it, she like screams. Yeah.
Really down the hall, and you just hear, "Ah!"
This
That's a sweet upgrade.
is a sweet upgrade.
And then
I
the
think-
last thing,
Oh yeah, I'm buying poison. I think it's the last thing.
yeah, if you still want to do that.
Yeah, I'll go see Melody.
Yeah, and as you walk in, it's very much like, oh, how lovely, another member of the Trollskull Six. Tell me, darling, what can I do for you today?
Is there anyone else in the shop?
And thinking back, you've never seen anyone else in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
I was hoping to buy some some poisons, if you have them.
She gives you an arched eyebrow. Really?
Mm.
Now you're speaking my language, darling. Please, step into my office. And she opens up a side door into this little smaller space. You've been through here before. It's where the secret door is to the central kind of hidden area. And she takes you there, like into a little space between the walls, so to speak. And she opens up kind of what looks like a spice rack, mixed with like a locker. So like she opens it up and there's just racks of vials and pouches and all sorts of little paraphernalia, some of which you recognize, some you don't. She has a wide variety of selection to choose from. If there's anything particular you're looking for.
No, just something. Whatever, really.
So
I
she
have drow poison, so probably not that.
she has a couple of vials of basic poison that are available should you want them. She has a little jar, and she shows you like she can dip a tongue depressor, like a popsicle stick type deal, into it and kind of pull out this. It almost looks like Vaseline. She tells you it was harvested from monstrous creatures that live in deep caves, and that exposing someone to it risks poisoning them and potentially paralyzing them for a brief time. There is another jar filled with like it's a viscous liquid, but it does move. Like it's a fluid, not a solid. She tells you that it is a distillate of the dream lily flower, and it can poison people and render them unconscious for about an hour if they are not strong enough to resist it.
Are these injury poisons or?
All of these are, well, yes, these are. She kind of goes through the list, and the only one that's not injury, she has like a little jar, and kind of attached to it is a little like net that holds several pieces of like gauze. And she says that's essence of ether. You tamp it on the cloth and then put it over someone's face, and it's an inhaled toxin that can also poison and render them unconscious. It's a little more expensive because the unconsciousness, should they not be able to resist, lasts significantly longer. She has another small jar with another kind of oily substance she calls eye scratch oil that could potentially blind a poisoned target.
That sounds good. Blinding. How much is that?
She tells you that for each dose, it is 250 gold. And you apply it to your weapon or your ammunition, one piece, because it's a single dose, and it's a DC 14 con save versus poison for 1 hour, and while they're poisoned in that way, they are blinded. And she has up to 4 doses.
I'll take 1 dose of that.
Okay.
Try it. That's 250.
Yes. She also has the venom from several poisonous creatures. Everything from sort of basic deadly snake venom to larger, more exotic creatures like wyverns, and even one very expensive, very special vial harvested from a large jungle worm.
How much are those?
Poisonous serpent venom is 200 gold a dose. Fairly low save for 3d6 poison damage.
And
half on a success. The more expensive one is a pretty big step up. It's harvested from creatures that live on the outskirts of the Maguma jungle and in some of the more exotic islands in the southwestern sea. Excuse me. Wyvern toxin, and that is 1,200 gold per dose. Higher save, 7d6 poison, or half on a save.
Yeah, I'll buy one. I'll buy one of those.
Okay. And the jungle worm toxin is 2,000.
No, I think just the wyvern.
Okay.
And she has basic too. How much are the basic poisons?
Basic poison's just 100 gold a vial.
I'll take one
She's
of
got like
those.
6 of those, yeah. Easily done.
That's it.
Okay. Galatar, what are you doing?
Yeah, a lot of my stuff already got crossed off our in Divinity's reach, so I just have like 3 or 4 more things that I want to do. The first one is at the beginning of the week. Would kind of sit down with everybody and ask, I'm working on a spell that I would like to be able to use so that we have similar to the pavilion, but a little bit more secure. So I was kind of wondering if anybody had like favorite color or room preference, anything in particular that you might want, or any feature that you would want to request.
Just like any feature at all.
Like some sort of
Yeah.
science laboratory or study
You want a laboratory?
space?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
So that-
obviously gold-plated fixtures.
Okay.
Purple room for me.
Okay.
I'd like a canopied bed with a sparkly lace canopy, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah, lots of cushions on my bed. I'm quite a fan of the full cushion room I have upstairs. It can make things rather interesting. And I'd like a room that's like a full bath with like rose petals constantly sprinkled on top.
Yeah. I was
Gold-plated
actually
fixtures
thinking of
there
having
as
a bathhouse. Would that be okay?
I would like a personal one. Perfect.
Okay. I can put the personal bath in your room.
If I can make a request, I'd love
Sure.
a little sparring ring or something. That would be super cool. And also maybe a beanbag or 2,
Sure.
like a couple really fluffy ones, and a bunch of shelves and like boxes to put seashells in, and like Mostly the beanbag. That's kind of a deal breaker for me. So I mean, like,
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
wow, cool, Galatar. This is awesome.
Yeah, just as long as I know what you all like, I can make it work. Alexa, did you have anything else you wanted to say from the laboratory?
No, I mean, this is like a temporary thing, so it'd probably be nice to have a little workshop to tune up something.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Color, is there anything you would want in particular? Do you want the place to like have like a weapon display of cool weapons or something? I don't know. I know you like weapons.
Like,
This is just like a temporary.
It's just
Like the tent?
decorative.
I-
Yeah, so it'd be like you can interact with the things in there and you can use them, but like they can't leave the space. But it's a little bit like bigger in scale and things I can do than the tent.
I mean, I really just need a place to sleep. Maybe a
Okay,
place to
done
cook.
for you. Yeah, there'll be a
Yeah.
kitchen. No problem. Yeah, Brina.
give Kala a beanbag.
Oh, Kala gets a beanbag. Okay. Got you. Beanbag for Kala.
Just like right in the middle of the room.
I don't eat beans. I don't.
It is like, we'll talk about it. Don't worry. This is so cool.
Kitri, is there anything you would want in particular? Plants, anything like a garden?
Will Biscuit be allowed in?
Yeah.
Maybe just have a dog bed for Biscuit.
Okay.
I guess it. I don't know. I don't need a lot.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. Did you want like a wood?
Maybe a little drawer or some sort of area for snacks.
Okay.
Somewhere
Did
I
you
can
want-
maybe keep some cheese and maybe a wine rack.
Sure. Okay, I can do that.
And then
oh, gosh. Okay.
if the walls could not be like normal walls, if they could just be like plants.
Oh, you want walls of plant? Interesting idea. I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want like a woodworking station or anything to like
Oh, that would be nice.
play
yes.
around, work on your skills, that type of stuff?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to take what you make outside, but you could like hone your skills, practice different things.
I could just carve little figurines.
Or if you have like items that you bring in, you can take those out and I can have tools there for you. You just couldn't like use the wood that is there and then take it out.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I can do all of these things. I'm going to go work with Colin later throughout this week. So I should be able to do this probably by the end of the week. I think I've got the magic done, right? I need to test it and talk to Colin, but yeah. Okay. Let me make sure I note all of these things correctly. Okay. So after doing that, I wanted to go see Colinar to talk with him about that spell, and we don't really need to RP that for the sake of time, but just to go over kind of his notes on the pavilion and how that magic works, because I know I helped him with it, but he was kind of the one that did most of the work.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
Yeah, so I'll talk with him about that, and then I need to go and collect the actual components for that spell as well.
Easy
Which
to find in Lion's Arch.
Yeah, I just need a miniature portal card from stone, tiny castle made out of wood, and a tiny silver bell, each worth 5 GP.
Yep.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Got that then. Okay, the other two things. So then during the week, Alexa, I wanted to ask if you could help me with more of an offensive magic spell that I wanted to work on. I know that you kind of specialize in those types of things.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I read about a spell that some magicians and things in some fairy tales used to use, where like they would have these like symbols of light around their head, and they could like fire them off at things. Would you be able to help me work on a spell that would be able to do something similar? I wanted to stylize it a bit for me, but you just specialize in these kinds of things more than I do.
I think I may have already done the exact same thing with my headband.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
yes, I can.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd love to get your notes and then discuss it. I mean, I know your magic works differently, but be good.
For the spells we share, it works about the same, I think. Yes.
Yeah. And then So that'll take care of that. I don't think that one has components. Let me double check. I think it's
It
just
does
for one
not.
somatic. It does not. Cool.
No
Okay, so that
spell.
takes. Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna take it because I saw Jimmy was taking it, but then I was like, I still need offensive
Hey,
spells. I have
yeah.
nothing.
And it's
Oh,
it's great
It's
for a bonus
amazing.
action.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like my bonus action currently does nothing.
Well,
If it can do
it's
4d12,
ranged, so like you guys
Yeah.
fight flying enemies, it's gonna be incredible.
and good for like helping other people when they're battling something. Okay, so that covers the spells. And then the last thing that I wanted to do was go visit grandfather Zatembe. And again, don't really need to RP this just for the sake of like setting something up for the future. But I just kind of wanted to talk to him about what did I make the note on this? Oh, I wanted to talk to him a little bit about researching more into like the kind of magic, or if he's heard of any kind of magic, or he could look into it that would allow somebody to split their soul similar to like what Lazarus did. Just because I'm curious about like how that kind of magic works and how like the astral plane works, if he knows anything. Not to necessarily discuss it like when I go to visit, but to ask if he knows anybody or where he could direct me so that we could like look into it more later on, because I think it's going to be important.
So he would just share with you that that sort of knowledge is not something they keep in
Mm-hmm.
Cormier's temple because it's so black, like it's so dark what you have to do that kind of sacrificial magic. But the sort of deepest secrets that are known
Mm-hmm.
are generally like the dangerous things that people aren't supposed to be exposed to, are generally handed over to the priory for safekeeping in their special collections. So if there was going to be a place where that information could be found, that is the most likely, and the guardian of that location would be the reference to kind of do the searching. He says he'll ask about it and see
Mhm.
if there's any pertinent information to share.
Okay. Perfect. And then I did remember two other things I wanted to do there real quick. One was to invite Elise, Roland, Burkhard, and gosh, what's my sister's name? It's been so long since I've had to actually deal with her. Begins with an L, I think. Notes.
Wow.
It's been too long, man. I never go home. Lisette. That's what it is. Since they're on Divinity Speech.
So you send them a note.
Yeah, I would just send them each like a note, I guess, at the beginning of the week. I assume mail carriers would get it then. I don't know how much that would cost me.
A negligible amount. We'll just say you send it.
And then the last thing I wanted to do was to get just a simple, because Omen didn't come with a sheath, did it?
It did not.
So I wanted to see about getting like a simple sheath for my back that I'd be able to put Omen in when we're carrying it around.
Yeah. Easy enough. It would just cost you like a gold piece for a
Okay.
sheath, but a gold piece will get you a fine quality sheath to store it in. It's like appropriate for the visual of what the sword looks like.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. And that does it for me.
Okay. Brina, do you have anything you wanted to do?
I do. Mine are really short for the most part. General housekeeping, restock on javelins, obvi, that stuff. I'd like to go see Abbess Fisher. We don't really need to RP anything.
Okay.
Unless
Fair enough.
Alex really wants to. But just catch up, let her know I got my ass handed to me. But like very exuberant storytelling. Is it worth it to do this?
Yeah,
I think
she
at one
listens
point,
very patiently and offers to take care of that ass,
yeah, that's nice of her. I appreciate that.
I held my tongue, Ryan. I was like, no, I'm just gonna say
I could see
thank
you
you.
fighting it.
Thank you. Thank you.
The worst. The worst.
Is it worth it to do it? What are you doing?
Yeah. I don't remember when we had this discussion, but I think I'd look at the abbess and be like, hey, listen, okay. Whew, when our pals were on our most recent adventure, I was talking and I was like, OMG, the abbess says something like blah blah blah. And then Bertie was like, so like what are you guys? Like, are you like dating or are you like just hanging out? And I was like, oh, you know, oh,
You muted yourself.
Yeah. That was weird. You muted yourself like
Yeah.
halfway through.
Yeah.
oh man. Classic Paige. I pressed the button, gang.
I'm sorry, darling. You'll have to speak up. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I just am getting embarrassed.
You
It's
seem nervous.
no, no. Basically, Bertie was like, "What are you?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I just wanted to know like where you stand with like what were us like hanging out and stuff, because you know I'm a lone wolf superstar thing, but also I do think we should hang out like all the time or like most of the time. It is your turn to talk now. Rita's face is bright red.
So, you're asking me how I view our relationship? Perhaps how serious I am about it? You're so high your mic was cutting out.
It's her voice goes into like supersonic, only dogs can hear it. Because I mean, like, you're the abbess of like the hot girl church, basically, and like,
She giggles. She
well,
flat
you-
out giggles.
no, but like a little bit. And I am super cool, but I'm not a member of the hot girl church, and I don't know what the rules are. Basically, like, do you want to like, are we girlfriends?
She smiles, and it's like a warm summer breeze in this cold weather. And she just glows a little bit, and says, I find your awkwardness so endearing. You're adorable. I am the abbess of the great cenobium Tulissa. Yes, I have a great many serious responsibilities. The first of which is to my flock. I must serve as a leader, as an example. My administrative duties are often difficult to balance with a private, personal life. You, being a free-spirited adventurer, has made that quite easy. Where you are gone so often from town, I don't have to spend all of my waking hours entertaining you. And it's always a pleasure when you make your way back to me. I need you to understand that I've taken a vow to serve Lissa in my capacity here. And I will not break that vow for anyone. But Lissa's tenets are to spread beauty and joy and love. And as such, as the High Priestess of the Lady of the Mirror here in Lion's Arch, it is my duty to exemplify these virtues. being seen to be happy, to be loved, and to be loving is no inherent conflict of interest. I don't know if you'd be interested in perhaps playing a larger role here at the temple, if you'd care to spend some free time here in and amongst the acolytes. You don't have to become a member of the clergy by any means, but I'm sure the brothers and sisters who serve here wouldn't mind seeing a little more of you. You are a fine specimen of a woman, after all. She kind of blushes a little bit. One of the things we pride ourselves on here is our clergy are a mixture of beauty and strength. I suppose what I'm saying is my responsibilities don't preclude me from, obviously, celibacy, but from being in a relationship. It is permissible, even encouraged, as an example to others. So I'm open to the idea, and currently I am not seeing anyone else romantically. There are rites and rituals that could lead to romantic encounters, but they're not required, and I personally don't seek them out. Quite often, members of the church who do engage in those do so in private. It's a more intimate connection to the divine, best carried out behind closed doors. Some people are not so bashful, and that is welcome from time to time, but I am not one of them.
His face is bright red again. Wow, you said like so many things, and all of them were awesome and very important. I yeah, I am open to. I don't want to tie you down because your number one girlfriend is Lissa, and I'm all about that. But like if I could be like your number two or even number three girlfriend, I would be okay with that.
My relationship with the Lady of the Mirror is not that intimate.
I don't know what she get up to.
You are definitely my number one girl.
Okay.
As I said, at the moment, there is no other. And I don't really feel the need for it. I am somewhat tied down to my place here and my duties, but you and I have not sworn an oath or taken a vow to one another. We haven't really spent that much time together, our respective responsibilities keeping us apart, but I hope you'll continue to spend your time with me. I rather enjoy it. I've never found a sparring partner quite as talented as you, and she gives you a wicked look.
You are making me blush again.
I think if you're comfortable with it, you could go public, so to speak, as an official couple.
Okay. Oh. All right. Okay. If you want to. Okay.
I think it would be nice. And as the official consort of the High Priestess, the Abbess, it would give me an excuse to get out on the town from time to time in your company.
I don't think you've been to our tavern before.
I have not. I've heard that it can get pretty rowdy.
Oh, it's yeah. No, it's like a nightmare, but like super fun. I did all the decor. It's super pretty. Okay.
It does have somewhat of a reputation, yes.
Well, I suppose that it is. Yes, indeed.
Sounds good to me. She also tells you that she is looking forward to your upcoming fight in the arena.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Whew. Yeah, we said deadly fight, and I honestly totally zoned out when we made that decision. So I'm really hoping it's like not like officially. Like, I don't want to die just yet. So
I've seen several deadly fights in the arena before. They don't pull their punches. The Zaishen are as loyal to Balthazar as I am to the Lady Lissa. They take their responsibilities quite seriously.
yeah, good thing I'm like the strongest person in the world. So okay,
just
I'll
might
talk to you
be.
later.
How big of a hole have we dug?
Later?
She
I don't think it's time for you to leave just yet. And she just like grabs you and like pulls you back from the balcony into her quarters.
oh
As you kind of tumble into the silken sheath, she just leans in and whispers very quietly in your ear, "Leave the belt on." Fade to black.
I hate you, Ryan. I hate you so
No, you
goddamn.
don't. No,
This
you
is
don't.
so good. This is the best part of the campaign. Period. Full stop.
Thanks, everyone. The only other thing I have left to do, probably towards the latter end of the week, I'm gonna follow Kala as she goes to the training.
Okay.
And I imagine with
Like
my
not stealthily trying to shadow her, but like going with her. Or did you mean it like tracking her?
no, I think she's like trying to stealth. Like her goal is to be like, oh hey, that's crazy that I bumped into you here, but
But we know.
maybe for the most part from the same place, and Brina's stealth is like 4, so I imagine it's
Yeah,
not.
Kala's passive perception's like 23.
Yeah, she can see through walls, so it's, I imagine, not super hard, but she's gonna follow her to the training facility.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are a variety of small rooms within this great colosseum where gladiators have like little sparring rooms they go into, and there are sparring dummies, like practice dummies. There are, like those martial arts poles in Chinese kung fu movies with like the spokes on them where people are
Oh,
doing
yeah.
their hand stuff. I don't know what those are called. I've always wanted one. But yeah, so easy enough.
I'm going to like bump into Kala, not knowing damn well that she can see me, and just ask, oh, hey, Kala, that is so crazy that we are both here at the training facility at the same time.
Yeah.
Since we are both here,
Mm.
totally randomly,
Yeah, just weird coincidence.
like so crazy. Can I ask a favor of you, perchance? I know you're super busy, so I don't want to like take up too much of your time, but there are parts in that last fight against the Confessor where I was like, ooh, I'm like really gonna die. And you did for a little bit real life die. But here's like, you are so good at killing people and like kicking
Mm.
ass. And I know how to just like strong and use my sword and stuff, but I just need to, I think, expand my skill set. So what I'm saying is like, if you got time today, if you want to kick my ass, like I'll try to kick your ass. You try.
Yeah, we can spar together. if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy if
I
we.
think you're really good at fighting. You just need to be more confident. You kill a lot of people.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of blood on my hands long term, but grapple with the morality of that another day.
Maybe that's the problem. You worry too much about that part. Messes with your head when you're fighting.
That's fair. I mean, when it comes down to it, I'd rather live and have you all live than like let the butthole man live. And like, I don't know, but you're right.
If we don't kill them, they're gonna go kill even more people than the ones we kill. You know. So it doesn't really bother me. We killed 50 people in one day, but they would have killed hundreds, thousands. They were gonna take all of Divinity's reach.
Yeah, and they were like big evil. And I don't feel a lot of guilt about that, frankly. And worked out in the end, but I don't know. Can you show me your skill set? I know you're sneaky, but also you just kind of fucking rule sometimes. So, you want to spar?
Sure.
Okay, that'd be crazy. And like we could get coffee after or something, like friends. Okay, bye. Wait, never mind. See you there. It doesn't.
This actually works out really well. So you guys spend some time really hard sparring and getting into the nitty gritty of what makes you good fighters. And where Kala's expertise lies in penetrating the levels of armor and dexterous ability to find just that sweet spot to do the maximum amount of damage possible, you are able to take from that and apply that to your strength-based attacks, which gives you your level 13 brutal critical feature, so that when you crit on something, you deal an extra 2 weapon damage dice.
Fuck yeah, shorty. That's
Yeah,
mine.
they say the fastest way to a man's heart is through the stomach, but it's actually in through the left armpit.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Exactly.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that was how I narratively wanted to reconcile that level up, but
Tight. I
fuck
love
yeah.
it.
That is all.
I like this leveling up better.
Yeah, I agree. That is all Brina has on the agenda.
Okay. So that brings it to Bertie.
Yes, bitch.
All right. First things first, I would like to take the Asura Gate and make a trip out to Char territory.
Okay.
And visit
to the Black
my
Citadel.
yes, to the Black Citadel to visit my supplier and see what kind of explosives
Oh,
are
fuck.
available to be procured. And I would, yeah, we don't have to go to like a huge role play, but I would kind of tell her about like all the exploits and like, you know, we were in like this white mantle cultish place and I just threw a grenade out into the hallway and bah, those 2 guys went flying and like kind of hype her up about her product to
Didn't you get some flamethrower kills?
I also got a flamethrower. I was like, I had these 3 guys lined up and just raid them down. Yeah. Trying to hype up her product so she gives me the goods.
Can I get a discount?
Can I get some like a frequent customer loyalty card, something?
They do not have frequent customer.
Sign up for a loyalty program, maybe.
Let's see. So I think the stats we've been using.
Fragmentation relates. What's the
Fragmentation 5d6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, holy shit.
I fucking know.
Right?
Here we go. I was trying to find it and it's not formatted in the same text, so I was overlooking it. Grenades from Arana Sootclaw are 350 gold pieces. Because that 5d6 is
Indeed,
like
yeah.
free spell.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
So 350 gold.
Yeah. I would say there are probably 3 available if you wanted to purchase more than 1.
I will take the 3.
Okay.
They come in fucking handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has pistols, you know, muskets, things like that.
Those are all too big for me.
Now, the flamethrower, does that let you use more than 1 charge at once, or is it only 1 at a time?
I believe it's only 1 at a time. Yeah, as an action, you can expend 1 charge to like expend a jet of fire DC 15 save, and then you take 2d4 damage at the start of the turn.
I have found that to be a little underwhelming for the action cost in the level of combat you guys are doing.
Hmm.
So that was an adaptation of Tasha's Caustic Brew. First level spell. Yeah. So I would say, see, the spell says when you upcast it to 2nd level or higher, the damage increases by 2d4 for each slot above the 1st.
Oh shit,
That has
that would be wild.
7 charges. Yeah. I would say
It's like the Asur and Wrist Rocket.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll say if you're interested, she will tell you that she's been doing some research, kind of tinkering with the design, and she could change the nozzle or the valve so that you
Yeah.
can release more of it at once.
All right.
All the other statistics are the same, but it would allow you to use up to the
Upcast.
7
Yeah.
charges.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great.
We'll say, what would this be? Come at a little cost to make the adjustment.
Understandable.
And that's a 1st level spell, so uncommon. I would say like 380 gold to make the adjustment.
Can do that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, that's all I have in terms of char stuff then.
Okay.
I would like to see if I can get another invite to the high rolling gambler party.
Oh Lord.
Hang on just a second,
menace.
let me make a
Yeah,
note.
no worries. No worries.
Are you flying solo this time?
I think I'm flying solo this time.
I would have been down, but I didn't realize it was fucking eyes wide shut when we got there. So I was like,
I would say that as you kind of put your feelers out, at the moment there is no scheduled party. It's not a
Gotcha.
regular,
Okay,
like, often
okay.
occur. It's a special thing.
Well,
This party or
is
anything
there
like that.
like a casino or gambling house in town somewhere where I could go wager some coin?
I would say there must be. In a pirate town, there's got to
Yeah.
be at least. It's not like, don't think of it as like a high roller Vegas casino.
Right, but
Think
like,
of it as like where the mafia has like rooms in the back where people play cards and gamble. It's not
Yeah.
in the back because it's a pirate town.
right.
Yeah, like there are taverns around where you can find a game, for sure.
I would like to do some gambling. Yeah,
Okay, that is a down.
We're getting ready to gamble on ourselves
I know.
with our very lives.
Well, I'm not as proficient in that, I don't think. Talking about cards.
We will probably not fight the fight tonight because it's about 6:30.
Yeah.
I think by the time we're finished with downtime, we'll be ready to stop for the night. Gambling. Gambling is random based on the opponents you encounter, so we will... You're going to have to make an insight, a deception, and an intimidation check.
Okay.
So the first one will say...
I'll just go ahead and say I'm gonna throw 1,000 gold down.
Okay, yeah, up to 1,000 gold is the limit for gambling. So
Yeah.
we'll say we'll go ahead and roll your insight check.
Okay.
31.
Let's go.
Good thing because it was a 22 DC. So yeah, that's one success. So go ahead and roll your deception check.
24.
Yeah, that is a success. It was like 17 or something.
All right.
Intimidation, please.
12. Ugh.
That does not succeed.
Yeah.
So with 2 successes, you gain the amount you bet plus half again more. So 1,500 profit.
Right. Love that.
Well done.
Yeah.
Love that.
You guys are just rolling in cash now.
Yeah.
I will say, just for informational purposes, I wasn't sure if anyone would suggest this, but I did some math on if you guys wanted to turn the Stronghold of the Faithful into a keep of your own. A keep is very expensive.
I kind of forgot about that.
By the book, it costs like just over almost 11,000 gold per year. It's like 900 gold a month.
Is that per person or as a whole?
As a whole.
I think it's to
Okay.
staff it and
So actually,
supply it.
I think it's much more expensive than that in the book because you need 50 hirelings to run it, which is actually kind of close to what I had because most of them are guards. But so I dumbed it all down to have 10 untrained hirelings to like maintain it, clean it, do the cooking. 2 skilled hirelings, one to be like a talented chef and one to be a major domo, like a head butler, keep track of the workers, and then 12 skilled guards. You could divide up into shifts however much. And so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that ends up being 30 gold a day, 900 gold a month, 10,800 per year, if that becomes a thing at the future that somebody wants to do.
Yeah.
900 a month's not too bad.
You would have to definitely continue being adventurers to
Right.
bring in,
no,
Quite a while.
no retirement plan there.
or continue gambling successfully.
Yeah. Birdie's going to go on like the World Series of Poker tour.
Or, start up a business that could bring in that kind of profit, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
A series of ends, maybe.
So I'll say the last thing that Birdie has for downtime really is he will go to the Cenobium and kind of continue this practice he has of like he'll get a large steam room and like kind of arrange it ahead of time so he can have that by himself for a day or something, or like a couple hours throughout the week. And what he'll do is he will like take this 1,000 gold piece diamond that he had kind of traded in some cash for, and he'll like set it up in the center of the steam room. And he kind of like throws off his like coat and stuff, and he's kind of down to undergarments, and he's kind of spends a lot of time, and he'll like kind of take his spells and charge them at this diamond and watch as they kind of like impact and like split off into multiple beams around the room. And he kind of works on some new spells that way.
Tight.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's great.
As you walk into the Cenobian, you pass Brina leaving.
Oh, Brina, you hitting the sauna too?
Bye! Bye!
Oh.
A little bruised.
Hobbling out.
Are
Right.
those bruises? Oh,
Jail!
Walking like a cowboy or cowgirl.
Jail!
All right.
But yeah, that's all I've got for downtime really.
Which brings us at long last to Kitri.
Bring us
Yeehaw.
So I know you wanted to do your purchasing of healing potions.
Yeah. Is there like a max number that I can get, like based on like if I scoured like
The whole city.
yeah.
So most of the materials
Mhm.
and the produced product are being shipped to the Pact in preparation for soldiers and stuff. But you are able to find 2 basic and 1 greater healing potion.
Okay.
Add it all together, it's a total of 300 gold.
All right, that's fine.
I know you also wanted to race as Pebbles with Alexa.
Yes, if she would
Absolutely.
like to.
That would be a blast.
Also, I did roll for those, so I can give you the rolls I did.
Please do. I rolled an 11, a 19, and a 17 for the athletics, the acrobatics, and the constitution, respectively.
Where did mine go?
Oh, did you roll them in Foundry? I probably deleted those.
They were like a
Uh,
self roll though.
Yeah, I couldn't see what they were.
The
It just
first
had
one was a
I thought you were
10.
testing them.
The first one was a 10. If you want, I can re-roll them.
No, that's fine.
I think the first one was a 10. I think the next one was, I think it was like a 10, a 19, and like a 20 or 21.
Okay, so that would be 2 successes. And we use pit fighting for those. 2 successes, you win 100 gold.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
Covers both of the basic healing potions.
So you said I got 2 basic healing potions
And a greater.
and then 1 greater. I wish they put all of them together as like, oh, here's all of the,
It would be nice for like a tagging system.
because I know they do it by like how sort of like,
How rare.
yeah. Well, I guess I don't have one sitting in my inventory right now. All right, I'll have to add it. All right.
Did you have anything else you wanted to do in Lion's Arch?
Let me think. In Lion's Arch, outside of getting like the healing potions, like she's not going to spend the week crafting anything because she's going to leave.
Yeah. You recall you summoned a unicorn
Yes.
with your prayer beads, and the condition upon which it helped you was that you would return to the grove and work with the sprouts in the newly awakened Sylvari pod chamber.
Yes. But before I do that, so I will take the Asura gate to the grove. And before I do that, I will try to go have like an audience with the pale tree, if I can get in.
Absolutely. No,
I don't know
enter
how
the
that
grove.
works.
You are a known entity to the wardens, who are the Sylvari guard. And as you approach the entryway to the Omphalos chamber where the pale tree resides, they crisply salute you. You explain your need, and you are allowed audience to see the pale mother. You find her in much the same position. Her avatar sort of growing out of the ground at the extremity of the chamber, and as you approach, the petal-like cocoon that she rests in unfurls, forming something that looks almost like a fairy princess dress around her. And she sort of clasps her hands at her waist and leans forward, greets you warmly. Welcome, my child. What brings you back to the grove?
Several things. Is there any way that we can maybe like meditate together? Or we could like kind of sort of be in the dream together?
And now that you are awakened, you don't return to the dream. Just before you joined us here in this ring of existence, I was able to send a projection of Kaith to help you. If you were to meditate, you could focus on the experiences and the knowledge that you were exposed to within the dream, and perhaps glean new insights by viewing them through the lens of your current self, if that makes sense. And I could guide you in this meditation.
I would greatly appreciate that.
Why do you ask, child? Is something bothering you?
I've had Recurring nightmares, I guess. And I've also developed somewhat darker abilities that I often get a voice accompanied with, and I distinctly have the vision of green eyes every
See
time
her
this happens.
face visibly become troubled.
And I've talked to other Savari, and a few have kind of talked about, like the nightmare court, like having bad dreams, but no one has really seemed to have had the same experience. And I don't really know what it is, or if it's someone, an entity, or what it wants. But I do remember from that time when I was in the dream that when you sent Keith to help me, that we were fighting a dragon and it had green eyes.
Oh, my poor sweet Kitri. It is the nightmare you hear. The same darkness that lurks at the heart of the nightmare court, though they do not fully understand it. Your brother Belak strayed too far into its depths and was lost to us. I fear the rest of the courtiers will meet a similar fate. What you fought in the dream was a manifestation of the nightmare. It seeks to control. It is the dark fury of the natural world made real. The choking vine, the toxic spore, the biting thorn that hopes to ensnare us all. The Nightmare Court, once beloved to me as you are, have chosen to exercise their free will and walk the dark path of the nightmare in pursuit of the power it promises. They too have gained much darker abilities through its boons. It's ironic, truly, in seeking to break the perceived chains of my guidance and Ventari's wisdom, they only offer themselves wholeheartedly into a much darker bondage. All of us hear the nightmare at one time or another, though some are more resilient than others to its call. I do not create the dream of dreams, but where we connect to it, I am its shepherd. I exert all the power I can to keep the shadow at bay, but I am not strong enough to completely destroy it. Honestly, I don't know if I could, and I fear what might happen were I to try. She just looks deep into your eyes.
So what do I do?
She glances around for a moment as though searching the air for an answer, and finally turns her penetrating gaze back to you and just says, "What do you want to do?"
I mean, I want to help my friends, and we're supposed to go fight something really deadly in an arena soon, and after that we're supposed to go try to fight an elder dragon, which honestly don't know how any of that's supposed to go.
You're going to fight one of the dragons.
We're supposed to. I don't really know when or necessarily how, but I'm sure that Traherne is in charge of the Pact that is leading this effort.
Yes. It is his wild hunt to cleanse the land of Or of its corruption. He will not be able to rest until he completes that task or perishes in trying. To serve a cause greater than ourselves is a noble endeavor. Nobility of purpose, chivalry, valiance, these are all virtues encouraged by the wisdom of Ventari and of the Shining Blade soldier who planted my seed here. There is no shame in seeking strength. Strength to persevere, to defend what is good, and that which cannot defend itself. Power itself is neither good nor evil. It is what we do in exercise of that power, and what is in our hearts as we exercise it that is most important. Meditation can help give us clarity, can help us process the information of our experiences, grant us wisdom. Similarly, we can take wisdom and new understanding by watching our friends, our allies, our loved ones, learning from their struggles and helping them to overcome their own darkness.
So it's not necessarily then bad that maybe the Nightmare Court and myself and I guess others potentially have somewhat, I guess I would say darker powers, but more of the intent we use them?
Indeed. Look to Kaith, the firstborn, for an example. She is most adept at taking the lives of other creatures. But when she does, there is a respect there, an honor to the hunt, to the kill. She does not strike out of anger. She does not pursue vengeance recklessly or with hate in her heart. Her eye, inwardly, is always turned towards the defense of the grove, of her siblings, of her friends, and the people she cares for.
Okay. So I don't know how you would know to do this, and am I just sort of then stuck with this connection to the nightmare that I'm going to keep having these dreams and having these sort of like darker what word am I thinking of? Mary forgot the word. You know what she's trying to say.
Yeah. So the pale tree says, I understand. Unfortunately, yes, the nightmare is, for better or worse, a part of who and what we are. All sentient creatures have their demons. Ours is just a bit more literal than most. Perhaps taking power from it that you cannot help is not inherently wrong. As long as the intent is pure and you remain vigilant and do not allow those darker impulses to guide your actions. Remember, Ventari tells us, act with wisdom, but act. I think these are perhaps the verses from the tablet that you should meditate upon. Sit with me, child. Let me walk the paths of your mind, and perhaps we can find some wisdom together.
All
And
right.
as you stand, like there's this faint groaning in the ground beneath you as a sort of mushroom-like growth kind of extends up from tendrils in the earth, forming a little cushion just behind you. You watch as her form kind of lowers to the ground. She doesn't really have feet to speak of, but it sort of bends a little bit like a tree in the breeze, and she lowers herself down kind of to your level and settles into a meditative posture. A deep quiet settles around you. As the calmness and the silence soothes you, you find yourself walking in a dark, dry landscape. Barren, sandy stone and desert scrub surround you. Coming loudly toward you out of the darkness, the sound of many large, hooved centaurs that begin to turn and wheel in a circle around you. You feel frightened. You know you're trespassing on their lands and they don't like outsiders. They eventually slow and stop, and you hear their voices, but muffled. You can't quite make out their words as your heart is thundering in your ears. You turn to look at one of them and feel your own shaky voice say, "We mean you no harm. We're searching for one of our sisters who spent time among you before. Have you seen her?" And this is not your voice. You turn and you see your traveling companion, one of your sisters, a powerful firstborn, looking angrily at this group. And she appears to be engaged in a sort of dialogue with them. You can't quite hear what she's saying, but you turn your attention back to see what those nearest you are doing. Your hands out, free of weapons. Suddenly you hear your sister behind you shout, and you whip your head around to see her locked in combat with a strong, angry centaur doing its best to stab her with a sharp spear. You shout out, "No!" just as a great black shadow begins to coalesce around your sister's body. You see her face twisted in rage, but also with a hint of wild glee, as the shadow extends behind her like a billowing cape, or perhaps a lashing tail. She screams, or rather roars, and the sound is deafening, and half a dozen centaurs in front of her are instantly killed. She growls with a deadly venom in her voice. "I hear you there, mongrels. You cannot hide in the darkness, and you will not stand in my way." It lasts only a few terrible moments. The ones closest to you rush in to attack, and you are forced to defend yourself. You draw your twin daggers and go to work. Soon, a dozen centaurs lie broken in the dust. A warm night breeze rustles the coarse sand at your feet, and your sister turns to you, says, "Filthy beasts, But as she looks at you, her eyes are not Silvari. They are the emerald green of the nightmare. And as you stare into them, a cold chill runs down your spine, and you hear a deeper, more powerful voice beneath hers as she says, as they say, "They should have known better. We are more powerful than you can possibly imagine, sister." And you watch as the shadow about her grows more solid, forming two horn-like protrusions from her skull, and a form of dark wings looking like toxic flower petals dancing in the air behind her. "All you have to do is reach out and claim it. Take it for yourself." Her green slitted eyes glance around the area frantically, and she whispers, "She went this way." And you watch as she leaps into the air, and with a powerful beat of her newly grown wings, she vanishes into the darkness. A short sob escapes you as you sheath your daggers and sprint into the night after her. You snap awake, cold and shivering, before the pale tree. As the blessed source, the pale mother, looks down on you, there is an expression of unfathomable sadness. You're not even sure if she's capable of weeping. This avatar that represents the indescribable truth of the Pale Mother. But she lets out a long, slow sigh and closes her eyes, saying, "I have buried all knowledge and memory of this so deeply that it cannot be discovered through the dream. And I will not speak of it openly in this hallowed place. Trees grow deeper, thicker roots in the autumn to prepare for winter's bite. Your autumn is not yet through, my child, but the winds of winter are stirring. When the time is right, Kaith will guide you to the truth. Until then, go with my love and my blessing." She leans forward, and there's an audible sort of groaning, creaking, like a heavy tree bending in the breeze. She leans down and just places a gentle kiss on your forehead, and then rises back up to a standing posture, gives you a brief nod as a sort of gentle dismissal, and folds her petals back up to rest.
All right, I leave. Not one to dilly-dally, right?
For those playing the home game, that is a basic description of her new spell. I assume if you decide to take that one, Draconic
no, I mean,
Transformation.
since it's like, oh, preparing instead of like, but yes.
A glimpse of the power that Nightmare offers. Offensive magic.
She'll just go right ahead and go to help the little seedlings.
Okay.
Also, for whatever reason, I was reading online, Silvari glow in the dark.
In game, yes, they actually have patterns as part of their twisted kind of viney flesh that like some plant life can glow in the dark, like bioluminescence.
That's creepy.
All right. Well,
you
I
want.
imagine that she probably has some soft pink glowings all over.
Maybe as part of this level up experience, you kind of change those markings because there is a little bit of mutability to the Sylvari form.
But yeah,
Maybe
she'll.
maybe the sign of the Trollskull Six.
Oh, the cross.
But you only see it in the dark. That's pretty tight.
Yeah, other than that, we did everything. So she'll spend the rest of the week at the Grove.
Okay.
Until it's like time to go back.
When she gets back to the tavern or the manor, Rita's just like, "Hey, Kitri, how's your mom?" Is like eating fistfuls of fucking peanuts or whatever. I don't know.
She's as good as she can be, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Sometimes she. Just don't know. It's like she's just unknowable sometimes.
Yeah, I figure with her being a 3, it's probably a little confusing. You want a peanut?
Sure.
Okay. Like toss it in her mouth.
So we will call it here in just a moment. I would like to end in the arena.
Please, though. I want to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah,
We
we
need to
man. Is
give
that
us
what we
the
wanna
setup
end
for
with?
we need
this.
to go ahead and
yeah.
make our bets first if we're gonna bet.
Yeah.
Oh, are
If
we
you-
betting
if you
anything
want-
other than Max?
Yeah, I want to bet Max for me. Can we each bet individually or just as a group?
Yes, you can each bet individually
Yeah,
with your own
I want
personal
to bet
money.
Max.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
we're all putting down $1,000. We're all loaded.
I made my money this week, honestly. I feel like I'd be pushing my luck with
I think you make 2,000 gold if we win.
I mean, Birdie, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
I feel like Brina's superstitious and doesn't want to bet on herself.
Also,
I'm not
really
stitious. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. So
Just tiny stitches.
yeah.
I
funny.
feel like
Small
she's
stitious.
on herself and the
Microstitious.
monsters.
Just suspicious.
Oh, how the
All right, so Galatar's putting 1,000.
Yeah.
Who else is betting?
I will put 1,000.
Alexa, 1,000.
Before you tell me that it's 3 adult dragons,
Gonna
I'll
be
just
your-
go ahead and put down my
your
1,000 gold.
Bookie here. So for the activity in Lion's Arch, I have Arena. For those who played the original Mortal Kombat back in the day,
What?
Ooh,
Test Your Might is the name of the activity.
Hmm.
nice.
Yes, so it's a 1 to 2 wager. So your wager doubled is the profit you make from a deadly encounter. And I will say the deadly encounter is not just like an encounter that's likely to put you unconscious. It has the risk of things like disintegrate that will perma kill you.
Yeah, I gathered that from the reincarnate.
Yeah.
Cool,
it's a risk, but
cool,
you know,
cool.
Yeah, Brina's
so
not Fine.
That's life.
I've
Oh,
been.
man.
I also then peck it. Keetri's gonna put 1,000 gold down. She's gonna use 100 of her platinum.
Yeah, Shorty.
Hi.
Heck, we may need that money for the resurrection spell anyway if we lose. So, you know, and if we win, we might need it later. Who knows?
Really, it's an investment when you think about it.
So this may be loud. Yeah. I got a little sound ready.
Okay.
The day dawns. Over the days leading up to the big fight, posters and flyers are put up all around town. Every tavern is just nothing but talks and rumors about this crazy fight. Kids, little news criers like running through the streets shouting, you know, this is what's gonna happen. Like the Trollskull Six, everybody come down and see. The day of, the air is electric. You all go to the arena early after breakfast and start preparing yourselves mentally, physically. I would say that before you enter the arena floor, you are pulled aside by a delegation. Traherne, General Soulkeeper, Stuart Gix, Lightbringer Velasquez, Ellen Keel, and Captain Magnus, even the Commodore of Lion's Arch,
Oh, wow.
Commodore Mariner. They tell you that they will be watching from the press box, like the
Well, now I'm
ability
nervous.
seats, like the special seats, looking at
The
this.
fancy seats.
that they will be definitely using this as a recruitment tool for Pact operations to showcase what the heroes of Tyria are bringing to the fight against the Elder Dragons.
Guys, we're
Do
fine.
they have like ad content that they want us to yell during the fight?
They
This
hand
is
each of
sponsored by
you
NordVPN.
a custom fitted. It's like a it's not a face mask. I don't know what the term is for these. It doesn't cover the top of your head, like it lets your hair flow free, but it's like metal across your forehead that then comes down your cheeks and kind of runs along like sideburns along your jaw.
Oh,
But it straps like underneath your hair to the back of your head to guard like your forehead and the sides of your face, and it is a mithril, like paper thin, lightweight, hard as solid steel. It's a mithril face mask that looks like a broken jawed troll skull. And in the center
Oh,
is carved the Crichton rune for 6.
What does Birdie think of it?
And we're required to wear these. I mean, it's just the skull. All right, I'll play.
Specifically designed not to fuck with your hair.
Okay, all right. You know what? Since consideration was given where it is due, I'll allow it.
Yeah. And easily enough with a disguise self to put a little like gold inlay and some gems to flash it up a little bit, bejazzle.
Yeah. his is bedazzled. He does a little disguise self.
Yeah. So you guys are led out onto the arena floor, and the familiar croaking, hoarse voice of this announcer introduces you to the arena. The Trollskull Six! And there's just thunderous applause, and there are actually huge, like, timpani war drums that are being banged to create like a festive environment. There's
so
like people on their feet. You can see like the red awnings have been drawn over the top seats to provide some shade for the spectators as the sun is brightly.
Did we get around to prepare?
Well, they probably just brought Zaitan. They're like, hey,
good
let's do it.
preparation round, right?
I will say you have a round to prepare yourselves as the announcer goes into his speech, and I might actually write something out for the next time, but he starts to prepare the audience, and so you guys have a moment to prepare yourselves. And he starts to describe powerful minions of the Elder Dragons brought here from the ends of the earth to provide a truly spectacular feat of strength and challenge to the mighty heroes who downed the risen Prince LaSalle, a dread necromancer, and a black dragon that once threatened our fair city. He starts going on like all these epithets of the stuff you've done, and as he's saying this, trapdoors in the floor of the arena open in 2 locations. And first, you see, if you're on the north side, I think you're on the map now, looking down.
Oh fuck!
On your left, kind of like at 4 and 5 o'clock, you would see a massive, hulking, stony-fleshed ogre with an enormous cudgel embedded with brand shards and bits of its flesh torn open as these shimmering brand shard muscles are revealed by its open flesh. Its jaw kind of like broken away in one point to reveal hardened crystalline forms underneath, and it's raised up, connected by glowing arcane chains. And seeing this spectacle around it beats the ground with its club, and you feel the reverberation. On your right, about 6 or 7 o'clock on a clock, I can actually do some of this. You see another enormous creature held in place by these chains, down on all fours, these long, backward knees, very bestial long legs of this large creature. He's like 12 feet high. It has like a triceratops flange coming back from its head, but it's jagged like a broken tree stump. The creature itself is very plant-like in appearance. Its sinuous muscles, twisted clusters of thorny vines and bark-like hide. Its long, beaked mandibles, almost like a snapping turtle with fangs, as this creature is also raised into the arena. To your left and right at 3 and 9 o'clock, heavy iron portcullises begin
Oh fuck.
Oh my god, I thought there was
Rise
gonna be
up.
2, now there's more. Oh my god.
to your left, stepping clumsily out sideways, is what looks like an enormous crab-like creature of molten stone, 2 heavy pincers out front, and 6 wicked, sharp legs tapping its way as it crawls out into the open sand.
Oh my god.
We've made
Cool.
good decisions, guys.
On the
I
right,
like
you
this.
hear
This is fun.
a bellow and feel the thundering as a creature on all fours comes charging into the arena and skids to a stop in the sand. Its enormous, crystalline, ice-like flesh, horrifying in proportions. One arm almost human in its aspect, the other a solid piece of sharp, crystalline ice. Its face, as it surveys the scene, is half, almost like a snapping turtle itself, but very jagged and icy. The other half, very Norn in appearance. Like a very large, bristle-bearded, like sharp bits of frosty ice poking out like a beard. Let's see. I can do that one.
Wow.
And as the speech comes to a close, directly to the south,
You're shitting me.
Ah!
Stop.
the torches at the end of the
God.
tunnel dim as everything around the entrance to this tunnel seems to go dark. And shambling its way out of the darkness is a horrifying figure. 14, 15 feet tall, enormous, thick arms, walking on 2 legs. It looks like a gigantic ogre with a piece of plate mail armor around its neck and just a tiny human skull inside. 2 skeletal human arms reached up, grabbing onto the metal of the plate, and the skull just open gaped, staring upward at heaven. But as it moves, it leans back, and its entire stomach tears open in a giant toothy maw as it bellows, "All shall serve."
Well,
Oh
some
god.
mistakes have
This
been
is gonna be
made.
fun.
That, I think, is where we will call it.
Oh my god.
Oh.
This is exciting.
What the fuck?
We should probably talk about strategy.
I think we've flown too close to the sun. We get a group chat started.
Yeah, we gonna need a group chat for this one. Boy.
I'm gonna share the screen just so I can keep this for posterity. Sharing options.
Rena kind of leans over towards Birdie and just whispers, I do think I peeked a little bit.
I'm just glad I wore brown pants today.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm
Wow.
dead.
Make it bigger. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Jeez.
zoom out a little bit there. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. You can actually resize this. They don't let you size it before it comes up, but yeah.
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 Okay.
Fine.
Huh?
So
We'll be fine.
I think we can take them, in all honesty.
I mean, it's gonna be hard.
if we can like get up close or like kind of go forward, like this game's paused, but in the center of the arena and like draw them all in so that some of us can then like break out and like hit some AoE stuff first to like soften the ground on some of them, that might be a good direction to go. And I can give us a mantle of inspiration to everybody like scatter when we get to the
Mhm.
center and they all close in. And then you can
Yeah.
we can try and slow them. We can try and hit them.
We
with
gotta
a-
roll that high initiative first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Well, we're
Mhm.
supposed to get a round of prep, right? Or like we got one round.
You'll
to-
have a. Yeah, let me stop sharing this.
Also,
now.
I
You
assumed I would have
guys-
been able to do stuff like my
Right.
mage armor and stuff while we were in like last time in
if
the
it's
locker
like
room.
an 8-hour thing, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can.
Yes.
cast those
Um,
long
I would have
spells.
definitely done that when we walked
For
in
the
the building.
purposes of like spell preparation, can I go back and like prepare different spells? Or should I
So the
had
morning of-
re-prepared them today, but if you as the GM are like, oh, now that you've seen them, I don't want you preparing based on what you've seen, like I can leave. Like I tried to prepare my stuff for what I was like, oh, this could be good for the pit fight, but I wasn't sure.
Well, you would have no idea what you were facing.
Mhm.
So
I mean, I prepared them essentially like that before, so I guess I'll just leave them.
yeah, I mean, you don't really know anything about these creatures, so
We know they're weak.
I don't know if you were thinking about changing something specific, but
I think we
like
float.
No,
you would
honestly,
prepare your
I've-
spells that morning.
I've taken a lot of them are more sort of like sometimes it's like controlling the area or buffing other people. Yeah. I think I have a more versatile thing now instead of having like speak with animals prepared.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I
Let me
think
stop
we
the
might
recording
float
here.
too close to the sun, gang.
I also, with strategy, if we want, we can also like separate a couple of them to see if they can bamf past a wall of force, because the stadium itself is not 100 feet long this way, like across. So I can cut out a certain number of these guys to see if they have blink or
I was gonna say, I'm
Misty
thinking Brina plus fire crab plus her ice sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't put your ice sword against this fella.
Fire sword.
Yeah, he probably. I'll try and toast him up quick.
I guess
Yeah.
these two probably can't get past a wall of force just by looking at them. But who knows?
Old mega mouth down there might just fucking.
Oh,
eat it.
that guy could just hop over. It's only 10 feet tall. He can
Oh,
just like
shit,
try and
he's
push himself up
13.
and over.
Yeah.
He's like 15 feet tall. Yeah.
That's
he's-
a big hurdle, but
I'm not stopping him with the thing, but I can stop
Yeah.
others.
They're all pretty
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, they all look large.
Yeah, they're all large creatures, so you're talking like 10, 12 feet at least.
well.
Yeah. And then all I'll say is Birdie's got some
You
at
might have
least
to dome him.
one decent
Yeah.
shot if we can get them kind of close.
It's 100
Like,
feet.
I think what Birdie will try and do is if we can try and like maneuver them together, like towards us all, like back to back to back, and then if Birdie can hit if the initiative's right, hit a mantle of inspiration, so we all
Yeah.
scatter away, and then people AOE the center. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll talk it through.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
and yeah.
And when will that be?
Yeah.